What is up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints, you blasphemous, beautiful bastards? Welcome back to the Rage. It is open room night. We will be putting the link in the side chat, so anybody that wants to join can join. We'll probably start off with a conversation between me and John, whoever wants to jump in, about last night's presidential debate, and then move on to whatever topic you bring. But first, tomorrow night on Smoky Saints channel at 8 p.m. Eastern, the debate of debates. I'm going up against Stapler Boy. I'm going up against Gavin. That is why you have the Stapler Boy icon for Naka Naka tonight. You're not going to want to miss it. It is going to be quite the show, and Smoky Saint will be moderating. So it's basically two on one. Yeah, so beta. Boring. That's bound to happen. You're not going to want to miss it. Of course, I will be mirroring it eventually onto the channel, but that's why you see Stapler Boy today. But what's up, John Peterson? Open room night.
Well, it's kind of fitting that Knox normal at opening, you beautiful blasphemous people, because today, as a matter of fact, if you didn't know it, atheists, today is Blasphemy Day. And Blasphemy Day mostly came about because of the ex-Muslim community, portion of the atheist community. And the reason it's important to take part in this day or observe this day is intended to show solidarity with our ex-Muslim atheistic brothers and sisters, because you've heard me talk about it on the Apostate Alliance. I'm sure I've talked about it on streams with Knock, but in most Muslim countries, if you are an atheist, if you blaspheme, you can be imprisoned, you can be killed by the government, or you can be just killed by your fellow citizens in what's called an honor killing. So Blasphemy Day is to remember, all these people that have lost their lives simply for what they believe. And we cannot stop until this type of behavior, this atrocious, inhumane actions that happen to these atheists stops. Blaspheming is it's just not something to be killed over. Okay. I mean, I can understand that if somebody blasphemes and it might irritate, a Christian person, or a Muslim person, that's understandable, but it doesn't rise to the level of you need to lose your life. And it's similar to what happens in Muslim countries where if they find out you're gay or any portion of the LGBTQ community, they will take you to the top of the building and throw you off. Today's Blasphemy Day, September 30th. Please remember to blaspheme. I'd like to see a bunch of blasphemes in the live chat tonight. I invited a lot of Christians to come in, and come on in and tell us why we should be atheists. And much like always, I'm not very hopeful that any of them will show up. But, don't be scared if we get some religious folks in there. Just let them know, it's blasphemy day. I have to blaspheme. So,
once again, real quick, John, we are having a bad connection with you again. It's a little choppy, and there's like it's almost like kung fu theater because your lips are moving and then the voice comes. So there's a bit of a delay, and I'm not sure what that is because that just recently started happening. But that's something that like me and you behind the scenes, and maybe like pull in somebody that knows what they're doing, like a Jim Majors. Maybe we need to go through and like clean out your computer or something.
Maybe I need to like get rid of all the cookies and all that shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So could the live chat?
Well, now your lips are syncing, so okay. Maybe I'm sure it's fine. It's coming through fine on the screen. So
let me know. He says, James Hogue says, oh, this motherfucker. James Hogue says, "Oh my God, if John grew a mustache, I'd be seeing
Stapler boy John Peterson."
All right, James Hogue. All right, James Hogue. This is war.
James Hogue is suspect now, huh, John?
Yeah, I'm gonna sick my my army of trolls on him. With whoever my Cheshire-esque partner is, I'm gonna have them sick them on James. So the other thing I have to talk about, one quick thing, one not so quick thing. Like maybe there's not too many people in the audience that are as old as I am, but Knox said he remembers shows from my era. But for anybody who ever saw Mr. Rogers, for anybody that ever saw Eddie Murphy's version of Mr. Rogers on Saturday Night Live way back when, where
looking
he was
for love in all the wrong places. Sorry,
no, that's Buckwheat.
Oh yeah, I did the Eddie Murphy Buckwheat, but still, Saturday Night Live Eddie Murphy was this shit.
But yeah, he was on Gumby, damn it. But anyway, there was a phrase that came out of Mr. Rogers, and then later Eddie Murphy threw it into his impression of the ghetto Mr. Rogers. So where you say, "Hey, can you say this, boys and girls?" And so I'm going back and forth with a troll on Twitter, and I used that phrase and said something about his crazy thinking or his illogical thinking. Can you say illogical, boys and girls? And then he shot right back, "Oh my God, now you're bringing kids into this? How disgusting!" And I'm just like sitting there on my phone laughing my ass off, like because he just didn't get it. But all right, so here I am. I'm just stalling, and I hope he's listening because I want him to know this, and I'll reiterate this in a very shorter way if he does show up. If you didn't hear it, I have to admit that Sky Out was right about something that I was busting his balls about. Last time he was in the room, and then Sokka came around, Drag came around, they went at him. I had asked him about what the three horns of the Munchausen trilemma are, and I know them a certain way with a certain phraseology, and Sky Out had said it a different way, and he had used synonymous terms, as it turned out. I mean, I kind of got the inkling that I fucked that up in the stream, but I didn't know for sure because when Sokka went to talk to Sky Out, it was just from their conversation, I was like, yeah, I think I got that wrong, because of the way Sokka was talking to him about it.
Yeah, I still got to cut that conversation out and put it on its own.
Yeah, between Sokka and
Sokka, Immutable, and Sky Out, yeah.
Yeah. I think Drag might have been there for a little bit that night.
Too. Yeah, I think he was there for a bit too, yeah.
So anyway, the way I learned the Munchausen trilemma is that it's circular reasoning, that your knowledge grounds out in three different horns of the trilemma, which is circular reasoning, infinite regress, or axiomatic or axioms. And Sky Out had said that it was circular reasoning infinitism, which is the same thing I've now been told as saying infinite regress. And then he said the third was foundationalism. And the reason he was right there is because that's what foundationalism is. It's that your knowledge grounds out at axioms, things that are self-evident. So, I just wanted to bring this up because Scout is so wrong about so many things. And then here I am. And I was busting his balls tough when he said that because I thought I was right. And I definitely wasn't right. And I just wanted to make sure and point that out. And as I said, if Scout comes around later, I will let him know that again. If any of you come across Scout, please mention to him that I did correct myself and gave him credit for being right. And I definitely wanted to, mention this to you folks because, as I said, if you didn't see that stream, I mean, I really laid into him about it. I knew what he did.
As we do with Sky Out, and but the thing that we also do is admit that when we're wrong, and John is doing that right now, and takes a certain amount of gumption to eat crow like that. I respect you, John, for doing it. And I mean, even a dog has his day, right? Like even Sky Out is gonna be right every once in a while. But all right, I've already kind of opened it up. I have put the link in the description. If you'd like to come in, join the conversation. We're going to start with I don't want the whole stream for the next 4 hours, however long we go, to be about the debate yesterday. But I want to cover the debate yesterday because it was a historic shit show of a presidential debate. And I want to talk about it a little bit. And me and John haven't had a chance to really talk about it. I've been prepping for a debate. I'm going to let Quentin in because we do have Quentin. And if you would like to jump in and join the discussion, we'll continue to put the link in into the side chat, if I could speak right. I've had a very long day prepping or actually 2 days prepping for a debate. So, and I'm prepping as if I need to because we're talking about Gavin Herliman here.
Well, look, I'm going to just have to real quick before, now that you've let Quentin in the room, I need to burn some sage. Just to combat the presence of a ginger.
Well, in ancient days, John, when a ginger died, they had to cut off its head because it might come back as a vampire.
Oh, shit.
What's up, Quentin Phipps?
No, so wait a minute. So would that be like The Walking Red?
What's up, Quentin? Oh, there he goes. He's like, fuck you guys.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, what's up, man?
My internet is being shit, so yeah.
Yeah, as usual, internet connections for everybody. John, I kind of put a little bit out there about the debate last night on the damn show. If you guys aren't watching the damn show every morning, I'm co-hosting it every morning. Me and Chris actually had a brief back and forth about the nature of Russia and Trump. I have a slightly different stance. I think that you should really present. I think you can present things differently based on facts without going too far with it. And Chris goes a little bit farther. So we had a little bit of a back and forth, which is bound to happen amongst friends. Me and John. It happens between me and John sometimes. I'd love to hear your take on the debate last night, and anybody that would like to come in and have a conversation with us about the debate, feel free to do so. I'm sure Quentin will be back in.
Come on back, Jim Majors. Just my overview of the whole debate is I thought that Trump came off as unhinged. Joe came off as pretty reasonable, and I like the fact that he didn't take Trump's shit. More than once he barked back at Trump in a clear-minded way. I mean, he didn't get too crazy, but he did actually tell Trump to shut up, or close your mouth or something like that. He said at one point, and Trump was just. I mean, how many times did the moderator have to step in and be like, "Sir, like, You agreed to these terms, and now you just keep interrupting. And then my takeaway from that event too is, and Knock pointed this out too, like he confused Joe with Hillary Clinton at one point. And I'll let Knock tell you the specifics on that when he gets back in. But my biggest takeaway from it was, what was it? Stand back and stand back and stand by. Okay, he's asked.
Yeah, I think that was the moment.
He's asked to denounce white nationalism, and then he tells the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by.
And that was on purpose.
Well, right. I mean, and the thing is that and then after the debate today, there was all kinds of Trumpers all over social media. How many times are they going to ask him that question? He's denounced, white supremacy and white nationalism multiple times, and this one guy was going back and forth with, he linked me like 4 videos, like as if it was proof, and none of those videos. There was one where he was being interviewed and they asked him about the KKK, and he did clearly denounce the leader of the KKK and the KKK itself. Those are the words that came out of his mouth anyway. But, that's all well and good, denounce the KKK. How brave of you. How brave of you to come out against the KKK. But he's never once came out and denounced this portion of his base that are white nationalists, white supremacists. He dog whistles to them. And last night, I wouldn't even almost characterize that as a dog whistle. And I admit I'm borrowing this phrase from somebody on Twitter today. That wasn't even a dog whistle last night. That was
it was a fucking call to arms, dude.
That was giving his minions marching orders. That's what that was. Yeah. Okay. I mean, and I'm going to link this tweet that had this little clip in it of Gavin. Is it Gavin Newsom or Gavin, the leader of he used to be have some kind of big shot program.
I can never remember his last name. I know you're the leader of the Proud Boys. Gavin.
Yeah. And there's this like 2.5.
He shoved something up his ass one time to own the liberals.
Wait a minute. I thought that was not Mr. Atheist.
No. Gavin, the leader of the Proud Boys, literally on his podcast. I think it was like a remote control or something. Can't remember what it was.
Who was the guy I'm trying to think of? The
amazing atheist.
The amazing atheist stuck something up his ass. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Gavin, the leader of the Proud Boys, literally on his podcast, pulled his pants down, shoved something up his ass to own the libs. Did
anybody else hear how Trump pretty much gave the go ahead?
Hold on, Leo. I'm not done. So hold on before you comment. And I'm going to put in the video description a link to this tweet that I saw today, where there was like a little 2.5 minute clip from Vic Berger, if you're familiar with that YouTuber. He does some great stuff, where it's just Gavin Newsom in different programs talking about the Proud Boys and talking about his
Gavin McGinnis, Seawolf. Thank you.
Gavin McGinnis, yeah. And talking about how his acceptance of violence and his desire for him and his group to perpetrate violence. There's one interview where he was talking about where there was some kind of an event and somebody was there some liberal was there trying to disrupt it. And, Gavin was talking about how he gave this person a beat down. And was just all proud of it and everything. But I'll link to that in the video description so that people can go check that out. But it's kind of scary because Trump just straight up set the table last night that if I don't win this election, I want you folks to go out there and tear this country down. That's essentially what he did last night.
Yeah, and real quick, and Leo, then you can pipe in. What John was referring to was Trump attacked Joe Biden for saying the term super predator, and he did it for several minutes, and that was Hillary Clinton that said that. It wasn't Joe Biden. So he completely mistook his interlocutor, and my joke since last night has been, well, who is the senile one here? Because that's the narrative they place against Joe Biden. And I've contributed to that narrative myself, and yet Trump clearly for a few minutes mistook Joe Biden for Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton is the one that made, well, the Clintons were the one, Hillary Clinton specifically were the ones, she was the one that made that super predator comment. All right, you can go ahead, Leo. I know you was trying to pipe in.
Yeah, I think Gavin Newsom, I think he's the governor of California? No, not Washington.
Yeah, California.
Anyway,
I think, or Portland, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Did anybody notice that Trump literally gave the go-ahead to his voters to pretty much go to the polls, and he didn't directly say it, but he said, "Watch those polls." That he's encouraging voter intimidation, which is illegal.
Yes.
And his supporters have already been doing that.
We talked about that a little bit on the morning show this morning. I brought that up. Yes, he is encouraging. Will, how are you in here twice, dude? Wow. I'm not going to let you back on. Well, okay. Will, your internet sucks as bad as Quentin's. Yeah, I did mention that this morning in the damn show, Leo. He is calling for his supporters to go to the polls and harass the pollsters and people that are going. And we already know that a vast majority of the left doesn't want to go to the polls. They want to do it through the mail. So what we have here is a regression back to more primitive times. We're talking early 1900s when both parties would literally go out into the streets with billy clubs, hit motherfuckers over the heads, drag them to the polls, and make them vote the way they want them to vote. I maintain we shouldn't go back to that time, and we need to have a fair and legal election. But go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, and the way that Trump conducted himself, it's obvious he's desperate. He knew that if he actually let Biden speak and make any form of cogent point, or at cogent by Biden standards at least point, that he was done for. That's like everybody was saying, oh, I don't think he's going to last long in the debate. I'm like, no, he is. He's got all these people. The whole interrupting thing, everybody that's close to Trump told him to do that. Said just keep interrupting the guy so he can't make a point.
Well, and I don't think why people would be surprised about it, honestly. Like, like go back and watch the 2016 debates with Hillary Clinton. He did the same thing. I mean, he amped it up a notch, but he's had 3.5 years in the White House to really perfect his rhetoric at this point.
Well, I mean, Joe got to make some very good points. I tweeted out that he body slammed Trump at one point when he brought up the fact that we're 4% of the population of the Earth, but we're 20% of the COVID deaths. I thought that was great.
Well,
and then Trump's behavior kind of highlighted some of the things Joe was saying about the president because he was acting like a total asshole.
Well, I definitely think so. Trump played to his base last night. There's no doubt about that. His base loved what they saw. They loved the attacks on Joe Biden's son, which I'm going to say Joe Biden should have been ready for them and should have been well prepared to attack Donald Trump's children and the nepotism that is going on there and the corruption that is going on there. It's not even a comparison. And Joe Biden should have been ready for that. But he had some really good moments. All he had to do was show up and be the adult in the room, and he did that. So he's a lot of Trump supporters are on the fence, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think that those Trump supporters are looking at last night and saying, "Hey, there was one adult in the room. Well, two if you count Chris Wallace."
It was kind of interesting because so as somebody who's already said publicly that they're voting for Trump, I don't fucking know anymore, to be honest with you. And like Trump came out, he did his normal Trump thing, and it's like, yeah, okay, but then this should have been a walk in the park for him, and he wasn't even really good at doing the Trump thing. I mean, like, you know, like the whole thing with how many COVID deaths and whatever. And then he goes on to say, but he doesn't actually make it punch, that we're expecting China and Russia and North Korea to report their COVID deaths accurately, but nobody remembers that. Literally nobody. So like if you're going to say that Trump walked away with a victory, it was a soft victory, if that. Well, I don't really know. I don't
see how anybody. All right, so Will, I'm fairly certain P. Mars is a Trumper, although he's going to say he's an anarchist.
Yeah, and real quick, I got to say, if P. Mars is the only Christian we get tonight, man, get the fuck out of here. Like,
I know we invited Christians, and Christians don't show.
Well, now that I'm in here, they're not going to show up.
Well, imagine that.
Who said that?
Will,
Me?
as Leo, as the sole Trumper in the room, what do you think of
As
the
sole-
abject refusal to denounce white supremacy?
as the
I
as the only,
just
as
sent.
the, wait. I gotta rip on you first before you talk. As the only cognitive dissonant person in the room, Will, how do you feel about?
So you know what was interesting is I was watching the debates, and I've donated to the Trump campaign before, so I'm on their mailing list, right? I just sent Quentin Phipps a screenshot of an email that they sent out that says Trump to designate KKK and Antifa as terrorist organizations. He had an opportunity to break that news to God and everybody last night, and he didn't fucking do it. He didn't do it. It was such an easy thing. Chris Wallace goes, "They just denounce them," and Trump does almost some random Joe Biden level rambling. Like I was like,
Wait a minute.
He was a deer caught in the headlights.
Wait, I'm gonna stop you right there, dude. Some Joe Biden level rambling. Okay,
Oh no, I get the gist of what Will's putting down.
but what I'm saying is how can that allegation, be thrown at Joe Biden?
Well, no, he's not
well,
saying
here's
that.
here's the thing. Well, what I'm saying is, I'll just clarify.
Well, I'm saying compared to Trump, who is the king of rambling.
Oh yeah, no, for real. He does come out and he rambles and says stupid shit, but at least it's coherent stupid shit. With Joe Biden, when he does his rambling thing, it's a hodgepodge of nonsense.
Well,
I can't.
I would say.
I would say they're 100%, dude.
I say they're equal levels of rambling nonsense because
all.
I mean Joe Biden, dude. This has been like 20 years of Joe Biden run for presidency and him not making any goddamn sense.
But not to distract from the point that he sent a letter to his supporters saying that he was going to do this thing. He had a perfect opportunity with I don't know how many millions of people watching. I know that the Fox at one point had almost 900,000 people watching live.
It was like 18 million on fucking.
It has to be the most watched debate ever.
He had a perfect opportunity to say, yeah, fuck you, the Klan, fuck you, neo-Nazis, go fuck yourself, I don't want your fucking vote, and he didn't do it. I was told them that was such a soft, like, Will, what the fuck?
He not only did he not do it, he told them through speaking to the Proud Boys to stand down and stand by.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
That means be ready for November 4th,
it means
my man.
Wait for my order. That's all it means.
He doesn't. What?
Fascism,
what?
Will, what I have been saying, and you have argued against me all this time. Fascism,
and the funny
right
thing
there
is,
for you.
The Proud Boys took that message and ran with it. Everybody that's in the Proud Boys is even saying, "Boys, this is our cue. When the president tells us, we go fuck shit up."
Oh God! Like we live in the most retarded country.
Will, you're talking right over top of Leo.
Yeah. Let Leo.
Go ahead, Leo.
My dude.
The fact that the Proud Boys are even saying, yeah, that this is the president telling us, wait for my cue. You can't argue against that if the Proud Boys themselves are fucking saying that's what it meant. I mean, you have no argument anymore. It's gone.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with.
Hey, Will. Stop cutting off Leo.
Well, I think Leo was done, and Will.
I thought he was done.
No, he wasn't. He was still talking when you jumped in. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with Lo, some co-host show, whatever. I had a conversation with him, and we were talking about just idly designations as a terrorist organization for various groups, and he was all like, Antifa is not a group, and I was like, well, it is, and we went back. So I came to the conclusion with him, and we both agreed that if Antifa is going to be classified as a terrorist organization, so is the Klan, so is the Proud Boys, and the specific neo-Nazi. So we've broken in the middle on that.
I truly don't get the conflation of Antifa and neo-Nazis. All right, so David Silverman did this on Twitter, and I called him out this morning. there's no conflation there. I know you want to say that Antifa is a group, and I can even understand your reasoning behind that because there are some disorganized groups that do get a lot of limelight and media attention. But Antifa is, as Joe Biden said it yesterday, I was actually quite surprised to hear Joe Biden use the correct terminology when it comes to Antifa because he's such a moderate fuck. I almost expected him to agree with Trump. But Antifa's an ideology. It's purely anti-fascism. That's what it means. It's been around since World War II. Since the beginning of fascism, there have been Antifa.
The guys
Lo
who
and I
marched
had
on
this.
Normandy Beach were Antifa. So I guess they're
Lo and I had this conversation too, and what it comes down to is that, Nazism is an ideology, and the Nazis organize in a specific way. And when we're talking about Nazis and neo-Nazis, there's a different designation because Nazis of the 1930s and 40s.
The people who were at Normandy were heroes, and Antifa are cowards.
Yeah,
so.
but they were against
of course,
fascism,
PMAR
which
is
makes
derailing.
them anti-fascist, which makes them Antifa.
Yeah.
I understand, PMARS, that you don't have a properly operating brainstem to have come to that conclusion, so I had to explain it for you. Hopefully you understand now.
It's wrong though. That's wrong though.
Antifa,
it is. Antifa is a terrorist organization.
No, it's not. It's not an organization.
It is.
No, it's not. Okay, who runs it?
There's a smattering of groups that
I have no idea. I know it's an organization
because there is nobody. Okay, so how do I join the Iowa chapter?
I don't know.
Where's the website? I've searched for the website. They don't have a website. They don't have chapters.
Idea.
They don't have leaders. So they have no structure.
Yeah. So all right.
How are they an organization?
All right. So I'm not saying we end it now, but I do kind of want to wrap up the political end of the discussion because people come here to watch religion and religious discussions.
Right.
I don't want to just end it abruptly, but start to wrap it up. And you're just completely wrong, both of you, about Antifa.
That's I was going to clarify, but it's actually not worth it. I'll probably do it on my show tomorrow. But John, I'm here for Jim if he's coming in later because he wanted to do it. So I thought,
stop.
Right, that's not what this is about at all.
Yeah, I honestly, I had no idea you would even be coming on, Will, because we've got to talk privately about.
That's what I say. I mean, I use that word specifically too.
Yeah, I don't know why you're coming on here talking about that shit right now.
Oh, I don't fucking know then.
Jim Major's comment there summarizes it perfectly. So just take a look at that.
Here, I'll put it up because it's brilliant. Saying Antifa is an organization is like saying where'd it go?
You're on a delay, John.
Atheism is an organization.
Did it?
I'm gonna go get my beer because I obviously
saying Antifa organization is like saying atheism is an organization.
It is. It's a religion that pretends it's not a religion.
Oh my God!
All right, here we go. So here's the discussion I want to have. How is atheism a religion?
I just want to say something to PMAR. Atheism is, first of all, not a religion. I know that. Okay. Don't play that shit. And the fact that atheism, there are organizations that involve atheism, but atheism itself isn't an organization. And that was going to be my argument with the Antifa thing, is that Antifa is not an organization, but there are Antifa organizations, and what they do varies. There's no King Poobah of atheism either. They're figureheads.
I'm letting you do it.
I don't.
No, sorry. I thought Doc was.
Well, Will, you're a former atheist, so it's easy for you to say that. But I want P. Mars to explain to me, and I could, every time P. Mars comes on, I should be calling him out for his abject racism, even though he claims not to be a racist. But I really want you to explain to me how atheism is religion, P. Mars.
Well, I mean, first, there's no agreed upon definition of what a religion is.
Yeah, there is.
Wait, there's not?
For God's sake.
No.
P. Mark, there's not?
No.
You're going to have to give us a citation for that.
Do I even want to know what he's going off about?
See, I think, here's what P. Mars is going off about. is that he is equivocating. He is conflating the religious, the definition of religion that is talking about people that believe in God, people of the persuasion of thinking God, spiritual things, But then there's the other definition of religion, where it's just that you are an avid fan of, or that it's your avocation, like baseball is my religion, because I'm so into it, I'm such a fanatic.
Right, but
Yeah, like the colloquial usage, yeah.
Yeah, but in those situations, you are fitting that definition, right? So, like with the baseball thing or racing, in my case, it's you're ascribing supreme importance to that, right, in your life. But atheists don't do that. It's not like, oh, I'm going to the store as an atheist, or I'm going to this concert as an atheist, right? None of those decisions are made as an atheist. It's just I've made these decisions as a person while I'm there, going there, doing these things, right, or engaging in these activities. I'm an atheist, but I'm also a redhead. I also have freckles. I also, wear skate shoes. These are just things about you, right? So, like, it's not at all, it doesn't fit any of the forms of religion because there's no system of faith or worship. Exactly. There's almost nothing but constant bickering amongst the atheist community because none of us agree because we don't have a systematic religion. And it's definitely not the belief in worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. So, there's atheists that their guy is R and Ra, right? And there's people that Matt Dillahunties, right? And there's the old school that still stick with like Richard Dawkins and stuff like that, right? There's a bunch that have different views, right? So we're not. It's not even like there's no core tenet that binds them together except for a lack of faith, right? And then you have people like Naka, right, that are not even full-on atheists. They're agnostic atheists because they're not sure whether or not there is a God or there's not a God. They haven't made a definitive determination on that.
And just to clear this up, from the Oxford English Dictionary, religion, the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. Does that to any fucking degree, or even by any stretch of the imagination, apply to either the lack of belief in gods or the belief that gods don't exist?
And just to kind of clarify, because Puff is exactly right, I am agnostic atheist, but I do not believe in any human contrived God. If there's some element out there that controls the universe, it would give literally two fucks about the atoms that are human beings on the planet Earth.
Well, and the other thing is like a lot of theists like to bring up Satan, when talking to atheists, and and it's the same thing. Satan is some supernatural being. So if we're declaring to you that we don't believe in God, why would you think we would believe in Satan? It's just the most ridiculous claim I've ever heard. So speaking of ridiculous claims, us atheists have talked for a little bit. So please, P. Mars, share with us some more about your theory.
Oh God.
Real quick, John. Real quick, John.
Atheism is a religion.
Real quick, before you go, P. Mars, John, I just wanted to see if you had recognized that your favorite Christian is in the chat, GPH.
Oh, GPH, yeah.
Yeah, what up, GPH?
GPH?
We saw you, GPH.
Yeah, come in the room, GPH. I promise you, I won't even trash you about your bullshit from the other day. But I thank you, GPH, because you gave me the opportunity to talk about an issue very important to me the other night. But I think that we heard the entirety of P. Mars's argument before you jumped in there, because he unmuted for a second and he said, and I quote, gave a very comprehensive rebuttal to everything we said. He said atheism is a religion, and then he immediately muted.
Yeah, it's just an appeal to the stone, whereby you just reiterate the same thing without proof that already got disproven. It's just a logical fallacy at this point.
Well, and I did
haven't been
see
proven though.
Well, I did see GPH's comment in the chat earlier. What about all those atheist churches out there? And there are a couple. There are atheists out there that do have a void in their life and miss community. And honestly, dude, I wish that there were more communities for atheists to come together and be together, because isolationism sucks. So, what about those atheist churches? Well, I wish there were more of them.
Well,
But, I do agree that calling them churches is a bad thing. Atheist communities coming together is a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about socialization. And one thing, like I know, like the Levian Satanists, the Church of Satan. I've always hated that, and I'm not saying I hate the people, but I hate that they appropriated that term. The term of Satan.
Well, it's real quick, John, and I don't mean to cut you off. I actually appreciate it when it's done right. When you're using Satanism as combating, preaching Christianity in schools, and then the Satanist will show up and say, well, the point is now you have to preach Satanism in school as well, freedom of religion.
Well, right, but the thing is they appropriated that terminology and they turned it into something else, okay? Because that is not true Satanism. Satanism, as you alluded to just a moment ago, is the worship of Satan. There are true Satanists, and when LaVey appropriated that term and tried to attach it to atheism, basically what he did is he gave talking points to Christians, and the things that like that organization does, they do some, good things. You're absolutely right. But when you take a heated term like that, a term that has so much import with religious people, and you take that on as your label, I mean, it causes like disinformation. It causes people not to really know what you're about.
Why do we consider Satanism to be bad?
I'm not saying that we consider Satanism to be bad. I'm saying that the 2.2 billion Christians on the planet.
Where do what I'm asking?
Hold on. Okay, I'm talking about. Okay, it's just like. Many years ago, there was a politician that used a word that means slow and deliberate, but the first part of the word has a racial slur in it. And this word has nothing to do with racial slurs. But he used that word, and it was legitimately used in what he was talking about. But because it had a word in it that was a racial slur that I'm not going to say, it caused a lot of problems, because there are a lot of people out there that don't know, when something closely related isn't the same thing. Like the teacher recently.
That's buddy.
Just like the teacher recently, the college professor recently, who got into a lot of hot water because he was teaching people the Chinese language, and he said a 2-word phrase in Chinese that sounded like a racial slur, and it wasn't, because it's a completely different thing in that language. Okay, so when you use a thing like Satanism that has nothing to do with traditional Satanism, which there's nothing. Hey, if you want to worship Satan, go for it. It's just as the same thing as worshiping a god. As far as I'm concerned, my reading of the Bible is that Satan's the good guy in the Bible, but it's because wait, I'm almost done. It's because you cause confusion with the people on the other side. They take that and run with it.
I'm gonna start calling you Sokka. All right, so real quick, so what I'm challenging is your conception of Satanism. What makes Satan bad? So we often talk about your conception of Satanism, or the conception that you're talking about linking with Satanism is sacrifice.
Hold on. I'm not talking about my conception of it. I'm talking about the religious people's conception of it.
The religious people's conception of atheism is the same. So why do we embrace that label?
Well, think about it.
It is the same.
No, it's not.
How is it not?
I was going to say, to a certain extent, in the atheist community, right? Without knowing it, I think John did describe it correctly, right? It does give we view it as giving it, or it can be viewed, or it is viewed, sorry, in the general psyche as being a bad thing to attach to atheism. The reason being is that the vast majority of the people that are atheists in this country come from an Abrahamic religion, right? And so when they come from that Abrahamic religion, they've been taught the devil is bad, hell is bad, all this is bad, right? Satan is bad. He's the worst thing, right? And then they, even though they've come out of religion and they know that Satanists are not, bad people, it's still, we have that whinge, right? We have that built-in whinge from all that time that we were ingrained that it's the bad thing, right? So it's just like atheism, right? Why do atheists, sometimes don't want to come out, even in America, right? As an atheist, because they fear what's going to happen with their friends and their family and everything like that, because their whole life they were told before that atheists were bad people, right? They're evil people.
Hey, Puff, real quick. I think here and listening to you talk helped me to crystallize it in my mind. What the problem with it is that when the Levian atheists took on the word Satanism, what they did was they gave religious people the license to conflate those two terms, atheism and Satanism. And when LeVay took that term, it was almost like a troll. It was like, well, here, we're going to adopt this term for ourselves because we know that you don't like that term, basically, and try and turn it into something else. And like Puff just said, so what you're doing is you're giving them license to conflate the two and to put misinformation out there that, oh, if you're an atheist, you're a Satanist. And in the large portion of the world, if you're labeled as a Satanist, that's going to be a bad thing in the minds of many people in the world.
Yeah, I get what John's saying pretty clearly. At least I think I do. It seems that I do. So
yeah, I think what you're saying.
I understand what John is saying. I'm just saying I disagree. I think that why should we bow down to the religious terminology? John, we often talk about on this channel when we talk about Genesis, who didn't lie in that story? Well, it was Satan. Who propagates that this Satan figure is the ultimate personification of evil? Christians do. What is the classical idea that we have as former Christians when we think of Satanism? Sacrificing animals, maybe even human beings, right? Like it is the personification of absolute evil. So what they have done is they have taken that and they have used that against them. So when they're trying to push creationism into schools, the Satanists show up and they say, well, now you have to preach the Church of Satan as well, because we have freedom of religion. And if you're going to have this freedom in your schools, yes, you can teach this creationism, but we're going to teach Satanism as well. It's a political point and it's a political battle and has absolutely nothing to do with religion.
Well, that's kind of sort of, but think about it the way that you said it, right? So you're like, what you said was, why do we allow them to set the rules, right? Or to set the standard by which we're going to dance around, we're going to be scared of certain topics, right?
And speaking, not to cut you off, but speaking of, Mr. Parker is in the chat and he is said Satanist. So,
well, what I was going to say was, I almost missed it. Okay, so the thing is, right, of course, any one of us that's serious, like that's a serious atheist like me or John, I think Leo may be an atheist as well, strongly. He may be agnostic, but strong atheist. Hard
I'm
atheist.
definitely a hard atheist.
Okay,
I'm
so
a hard atheist and a strict naturalist.
So
Nothing
once we got to
supernatural
that
exists.
point,
Grow
right?
up.
But these are thoughts that we have. Oh, why do we let them do that, right? But that's from a position of knowledge, right? A position of knowledge that, of what's really in the Bible, the content is really in the Bible, and more knowledge of the world around us, right? So with that, we're making. Why would people do that? But when we were under the control of an Abrahamic religion, right? We would never have had this thought. Why do we let them set the table, right? We don't even.
That's the John Peterson I love. He's like, I give no fucks, motherfucker. I'm right.
I love the way he trolls. It's just so funny. It's so subtle and just so on point.
Yeah.
What are you saying? I am your
So,
dark.
I didn't mean to cut Puff off.
I am
That
the dark.
was
I am
pretty
the
good,
dark
John.
lord. I am the dark.
Yeah,
Lord. I am the dark lord and master of atheism.
yeah. I didn't even catch it, but and until just now. But yeah, so that's the thing, and it like it's getting the word out there, right? Like spreading the knowledge, giving people that knowledge, right? So if we give people the knowledge of what really happens in the Bible, and then they're going to be more, you know, they're not going to have that view, I don't think. And the thing is, it's kind of stupid that Christians did that. I can't believe how they got over with that whole Satan is the bad guy thing, because if you go by the two deities, right, in the Bible, the one that actually is honest, like you said, Knock, the one that actually, you know, gives forgiveness and does the things that they're supposed to do and honors the deals that they make and whatnot, is Satan in the Bible, right? And
you know
God's
what?
constantly tricking people into screwing themselves over. He's going back on his word because, oh, you missed this technicality. There's tons of stuff going on, you know, but Satan's pretty straight up guy in the Bible.
Well,
Can I jump in?
And here's the thing. And I want to get some other people in here that haven't had a chance to talk. But Puff is right on, because, and then I've heard people say that, and I totally lost my point. Just like
Go ahead, Leo.
I
But,
wanted to address what agnostic pagan mom said in the chat. She said being a modern Satanist has nothing to do with atheism or naturalism. That's not exactly true. From Wikipedia, the religion is materialist, rejecting the existence of supernatural beings, body soul dualism, and life after death. It also says the religion propagates a naturalistic worldview, seeing mankind as animals existing in an amoral universe.
There are different forms of Satanism. There are people that actually believe in Satan.
Satanism,
you know,
is naturalist and atheist.
Well, it really
and
depends on who you talk to, just like the atheist.
Yeah. When I say believe in Satan, there's different iterations of Satan. There is a good version, a bad version, a moderate version. I mean, there's a lot of. So I mean, people believe a lot of different shit. I don't believe in none of the Satan shit. You know, I don't believe in the God shit either. You know.
Well, and Leo brings up a good point, because what he just described is the Levian form of
I should have specified that.
And,
that's my
fuck, I remembered it, and then I forgot I should have said it first. But my vision is so bad I can't see people's names. But Seawolf, is it?
Yeah, how's it going, John?
How's it going? Yeah, you've been sitting there listening to us rant on and on for a while. What is your take on all this?
I agree with most everything I've heard. I think it's very, very amusing that people consider the devil and Satan to be a real thing in real life. It just is incongruent with anything that we've been told about how this stuff works. So I don't even know why it's even a conversational piece with these guys that are theists.
Well, and I remember I was going to say is some point that I've heard people bring up when they're trying to do an internal critique of the Bible and biblical beliefs is, here's Satan, who was an angel,
Right.
who knew God more perfectly than probably any other being, and he turned his back on that God.
Right.
So
and not only that, John, but convinced a third of the heavenly host that God was evil enough to wage a war against.
Right, because there was a war in heaven, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what God's heaven is like. It's full of war. You know, it's awesome. There's a lot of stuff going on, I guess. It just makes no sense whatsoever. So
I guess
hold on, Leo. I want to jump to Doubting Thomas. He's been sitting patiently as well. Doubting Thomas, do you have anything to add at this point?
I was gonna say I think Satan is real.
P. Mars. What?
I think Satan is like a metaphor for the aspect of human nature.
P. Mars, we will get back to you. John will get back to you in turn. He's letting the people that haven't spoken yet speak.
Yeah, well, he wasn't talking, so I just thought I'd say.
That's because you're P. Mars. Go ahead, Doubting Thomas.
No, it's all. I'm good.
Red Fang.
P. Mars.
wait.
Yeah,
So does Doubting Thomas really believe that the devil's real? Is that what you were saying?
No, that's what I was saying.
I
was saying I think of the Satan as like a metaphor for the aspect of human nature that's self-destructive. I think
You don't believe the devil is a real thing.
No, I think it's. I just said it's real. Like,
so how would the devil be real if it's just a metaphor?
Yeah.
Because it's a real part of human nature that like there's something.
Well, but that's
human
not the
nature
devil. That's human nature. That's not the devil.
Right.
But that's what it's the devil's a metaphor for that, in my opinion.
Okay, how can it be? Wait. And Knock asked you how you answered me when I said, you don't believe it's real. You said, no, it's real. How can it be a real being and a metaphor at the same time?
Well, because it's a metaphor for human nature, which is real.
You're just repeating.
Wait. In P Mars' defense, you just added the word being, real being.
Right? That's what he said.
Is it not a being?
He said the devil is real, and I understand what he's getting at. The devil is real. Okay. The devil is real in the fact that the devil exists in many people's minds.
Okay, Pete.
Okay. There are many people that believe we're in the middle of a spiritual war right now.
No, I think it's in. I think it's in everyone's. I think that Lucifer is inside of me.
That's a beautiful. Wait a minute, P. Mars. That's a beautiful steel man of your argument, P. Mars, that Doubting Thomas just did. But just let me ask you pointedly, because this is the way I understood you, is that you were saying it was a metaphor for the evil
human nature.
That human nature exists. Okay. But you're also saying that Satan is an actual being that exists, are you or are you not?
No, I'm not saying it's an actual.
Okay, so wait, so is this like saying God is energy?
Wait.
Same thing.
So why, when I asked you if it was a real being, you said yes, just like 2 minutes ago.
I thought you said is Satan real. I didn't hear you specify. I suppose.
All right.
Okay, so is that like saying that energy, God is energy, right? So when I say God, I just mean it metaphorically for energy in the cosmos, right? Because so it really exists.
Perfect.
Right? It really exists, right? So I'm just calling energy God. Is that what you're saying, P. Mars? That you're just calling human nature Satan or the devil?
Yes.
Okay, so then it's just human nature. You just change the words.
So therefore, is God just energy, P. Mars?
Yeah, I think God could be like a metaphor for like
nature, maybe
kind of like your higher self, I guess,
or
your higher self. So
when Knock smokes weed, he's getting in contact with God because that's his higher self.
No, weed
contact higher self.
Drugs and weed would get you in contact with Lucifer.
But why? Because
it's self-destructive.
But
God is your higher self.
Dude, like I literally had a conversation with Jesus Christ for 8 hours on LSD one night. Come on.
I was going to say, but doesn't it specifically say that God gave man the right the right to use all seed-bearing plants? Like
Genesis 1:29.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering. But not only that, right? So wait a second. You said so God is a representation of our higher self, right? So explain to me. I'm very confused about what part of the higher self floods all the communities of the world if they get angry.
That was just a metaphor for tears.
I'm a Christian.
Rage, real quick. If you need to, if somebody's waiting backstage and you want to rotate me out, feel free at any time, man.
Well, once we're at 10, they can't even get in backstage. So
I just want to ask real quick because I'm not familiar with you, Michael X. Are you a Christian or an atheist?
I'm an atheist. I'm fairly new to YouTube, so I'm still kind of getting my feet wet with the stream business.
Well, welcome, and good job, just like diving right in, my man. I waited 10 years at least. So.
I'm fairly young.
I've seen Michael once in another stream. I can't remember where.
Yeah, I'm on Smokey's stream. Probably.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's where I've seen you. Yeah.
Good old Icky Paint.
That's probably not going to do me any favors.
I need to ask an obvious question, maybe. Like when you say young, what do you mean young?
I'm 21.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Oh, you're not even the young. You're not even the youngest person in the room.
Well, I'll tell you what. I want to comment on that and say that by referring to himself in that way, he's showing a little wisdom beyond his years. Because we've had people come in that are like mid teenagers and stuff, and that's always a little trepidatious. But here's a man that's 21 years old and is self-aware enough to say that I'm young, So it sounds to me like he realizes he's still got shit to learn. So I commend you for putting it that way.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate
Mr.
it.
Parker is Godless Galaxy, John. I'm not sure if you remember, but I do believe you are 17 now, Mr. Parker. So yeah, Mr. Parker would be the youngest person in the room.
Well,
Mr.
Parker,
he's a Satanist.
Yeah, well, Mr. Parker is also, even at 17, I would say he's one of the more educated.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
We had a great conversation on his channel recently about fascism.
Yes.
I'm going to mirror it and put it on this channel. It's going to be. It is a really good conversation.
Very, very good conversation.
But
the thing is, Naka. No, go ahead, Mr. Parker.
I was just getting noodles. I just came back. I don't know what you guys were talking. I heard my name.
I was just
we were just singing your praises.
I was just gonna say for Naka that he's very, very, and so is Mr. Parker, and I think this is why it was a good discussion, because you two are you have a very good, solid education and understanding of politics, and not just even in the United States, but I would say that, on even in a more international level.
Oh, dude, I love watching British Parliament. When they start fighting, oh my god,
the best reality show on television. Hey, T-Wolf, how about elaborating on the comment you left in the private chat? I kind of like that.
Which one? The Yahweh cannot prevent the Satan devil from steamrolling him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always find that really interesting too. It's just endless. It's the devil's real, but then he isn't. He's a metaphor, and then the reason there's evil in the world is because Satan is doing something, and God doesn't want him there, but for some reason he can't seem to just get rid of. I mean, it's endless. So it's just a constant barrage of contradictions in my opinion.
And it seems like God created his equal to have a foil.
Yeah, and it's based on the whole thing. It's just like some guy was telling me the other day about how he couldn't believe that Adam turned his back on God in the Garden of Eden, and I tried to ask him about how that made any sense, considering the fact that they don't know anything about anything, yet they're expected to make some rational decision about defying God or not. And it's kind of the same logic that goes on with the devil. It's like, okay, the devil is a fallen angel that went to battle up in heaven at some point that God apparently thought was a cool idea and allowed that to go on. And then now he just can't seem to find him or get rid of him or beat him up or anything. I mean, Israel Adesanya just took out Paulo Costa in the last UFC card, and that seemed easier than God has with the devil. He has an easier time.
And because God is omniscient, he created Satan with the full knowledge that Satan would turn his back on him.
Oh, exactly.
And take a third of his, forces away. And
exactly. And it's interesting because, like Michael X getting involved in YouTubing at an early age, as he described and all this, it's, I've only been doing the YouTube thing for a couple months, but I sometimes am embarrassed to be even having this kind of conversation with grown adults. I'm like, we're talking about what the devil is allowed to do by the God that created him in the first place, and what? And it's still unclear as to how this all works, even when you have three theists in the room. It's like it's almost as confounding as the Trinity.
Well, and it's as confounding as the claim by many theists that God is omnipotent and omniscient, but we have free will. Wait a minute. How is it that we have free will if God knows past, present, future? We have no choice but to do what we were going to do in the first place.
Can I play devil's advocate there, just because I'm curious?
You mean metaphorically, Leo?
Real quick, Leo, before you cut in, just to kind of add on to what John is saying, not to mention the direct interventions that God has, speaking of the flood, speaking of Abraham, speaking of Solomon, speaking of Jesus Christ himself. God intervened in the free will of humankind until 2,000 years ago, and for some reason, the miracles dried up. But go ahead, Leo.
So just to play, because I'm curious to know how everybody is going to respond to this. And this is what I've gotten from some theists, and it's the point that I made when I was a theist, is that God has what we would call precognition, or the ability to know what happens before it does. But precognition is not synonymous with predetermination or personally choosing those events to happen. You just know that they will. So the argument goes,
synonymous with omniscience?
yes, because if you're omniscient, then you precognize, you know what happens before it does. So the argument goes, one would have to show how precognition inherently leads to predetermination, even when those two terms aren't the same.
Well, it doesn't matter if the terms are the same. The reason that it leads to that is because if you know what's going to happen in the future and what any being that you created is going to do in the future, then you have created that being with a predetermined destiny. Okay. So the fact that I'm an atheist, if there is a God, he knew that, and he knew that when he created me. Mm-hmm. So it effectively, it may not eliminate free will, looking at it in certain ways, but it effectively does cancel out free will.
Yeah. And see, that's the argument that I give now, and I didn't know if anybody had a similar argument or a better one, so that's kind of why I went devil's advocate there. But yeah, that's what I would say, is if he creates you knowing what you're going to do, then isn't he essentially determining you to do?
Well, Ocean Keltoy.
He has a plan.
No, but he gives you freedom. He gives you freedom to do what you want. That's why he's love, because I think love is freedom.
But the sip of beer I just took, he knew that I was going to take that when he created me, right?
Real quick, let me cut in. Ocean Keltoy has a really great video that everybody should go watch. It is essentially, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it is an argument on why if anybody should go to hell, it is God himself. And it is a great fucking argument. It is a really good argument. Everybody should go watch it.
And Leo, I got to point out to you, I'm the devil's advocate in the room.
Apparently. Metaphorically.
Yeah.
So you guys know about dark matter, right? And all that stuff. Yeah. There's so many amazing resources in there. Dark matter 2525.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like actual dark matter.
My friend Mama Atheist actually knows him and has streams with him, and I'm like, Mama, you got to get me on one of those. I will skip work to get in on a dark matter 2025.
Oh, you haven't been on one of those yet?
I
always have guys on there doing voices.
I always work on Sunday and shit. Well, no, I'm talking. My friend Mama Atheist has him on for a live stream.
Okay. Shannon Q had him the other day, or Jimmy Snow, or Shannon Q, or someone.
He's starting to do it more. He's coming out of that show.
Yeah. No, he's. Dude, and when he shows up in person too, I think it's kind of surprising to a lot of people that he's the guy, because he's not a schlep by any means, man. That guy will roll some fools.
Yeah. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's like Aaron Ra. When you see him in person, you're just like, oh, you're not what I was expecting.
Yeah. He'll roll you up in a ball and throw you.
Yeah.
One of my favorite YouTubers, Seawolf. So I'm sorry I cut in there, but like you said, dark matter. I'm like, yes, let's talk about dark matter.
I just think that there's so many, like, I love sending people videos of his because he covers so many domains and he keeps getting better and better at all of his animation and stuff. So it's really cool.
I like
it's a great resource.
I like his style of humor in his videos. I almost think it's a little bit South Parky in kind of how he plays to these inconsistencies and these hypocrisies in Christianity and some other religions, where it's kind of that South Parky humor almost. And I love South Park. So
you've seen that guy who does the
go ahead.
There's messed up Bible stories. Have you ever seen that guy's stuff? I think maybe Dark. I don't know if they came out at the same time, but they kind of started playing. They seemed kind of similar angles as far as the humor realm.
You know who else?
And then Dark Matter went off on his own.
Oh, you know who else is awesome? Has anybody ever seen Non-Stamp Collector?
Yes, that guy's amazing. He's been inactive though for a number of years. That guy.
He actually put something out like maybe 6 or 8 months ago, alluding to that he was coming back, and then nothing ever came after that.
Yeah, that guy's amazing. I love that guy.
Yeah. Well, he said in that the reason he had been gone and away for all that time was he had a couple kids, and he was raising his kids. They were very young, and he was like, basically, he had come to the point where he had that same attitude as Seawolf. Like, why are we still talking about this stuff that doesn't make sense on the face value, right? He's like, and so he just put it down for like 6 years or so, or whatever, however long he was gone. He put it down, and he just raised his kids. He wanted to raise his kids up, you know.
Good, yeah.
Really quick, I really love comments like this. So Chris Keith is actually somewhat of a fair Christian that I've met over in Smoky Streams. I think of all the Christians that go over to Smoky Streams, Chris Keith seems to be somewhat decent and fair. But I love these comments. Aaron Roz, your guy's apostle, LOL. And I know you're joking, Chris, but I just want to address that. Like, we literally don't have leadership here, right? Like, I often tell people I stand alone. I'm independent. Me and Aaron Ra have had like maybe 3 words between each other, and that was in reference to a comment he made about my appearance on Matt Powell's movie. I did a video pretty much saying, hey, it's cool, dude, you don't know me, and how could you only saw that movie. And he reached out to me and thanked me for my graciousness. But I have no apostles. In fact, I'm of the mind, like I literally want to give David Silverman to Christians. Like, you guys can fucking have that.
Yeah. Hey, real quick. There's somebody that's trying to come into the room. The room is full right now.
Hey, I'll take off. I got my son here, and I got stuff to do. I
also wanted to say I put the link in the chat, and Chris Keith, if you'd like to come in, I mean, it seems like every time. It seems like every time we put the invitations out for Christians, which we did for this stream, you know, P. Mars is the only one that shows up. Because
I like the abuse.
But before you go, Seawolf, I just want to ask you, how long have you been nailing the Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark look?
Since I was about 16, I think, because that's when I started hearing about it. So it's
because you're almost a dead ringer for him in that movie, man.
Oh shit, Iron Man's dead, so he must be a spirit.
That's right. I'm metaphorically Iron Man. So,
all right,
yes, you are.
Yeah. By the way, frustrated atheist David Silverman is more than just a piece of shit. He's a reprehensible scum, fuck, dipshit, douchebag, asshole, motherfucker, cocksucker, piece of shit.
And if that was frustrated, the moment we do have a free spot, please come in.
Well, yeah, you can come in, but how about we get the Christian in the room? Let's give Chris Keith, a few minutes to try and get in here once somebody leaves. So any atheists that were trying to get in, please hold off for like 5 minutes. And whoever was going to leave, go ahead and leave because somebody's trying to get in right now.
Okay, thanks you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Take it easy, Seawolf. Nice seeing you again.
Good to meet you, Seawolf.
All right, see you guys.
All right, see you later, man. What I like best about Chris Keith is his Southern accent. It like takes me home, and I'm like, I'm back in North Carolina, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm talking to a Carolinian. I'm not sure if he's from North Carolina, but he has that dialect, and it just takes me home. So.
Chris Keith is tolerable. I'll put it that way.
But we don't have Chris Keith. We have better. We got Jim Majors.
And then just look, leave the 10th spot open for like 5 minutes to give Chris Keith or any other Christian to come in the room. And
we've got a Christian, John. Sorry, Chris.
Richard. Peace and respect, y'all. Man, I have heard such a conglomeration of Christianity.
I'm sorry, Richard. Is there anybody else that wasn't going to take part too much that could step out for a little bit? Because I believe that Chris Keith is trying to get in now. Somebody else is trying to get in. And albeit that I love Richard Madsen, he's not going to challenge us too much as far as, because he gets along with us. But
I love you guys, but I can still think that you're wrong about several points.
Well, right. I'm not saying that you can't, but what I'm saying is like somebody else is trying to get in the room. I would ask, and not Jim Majors or anybody that just got here, not Richard, not Jim, but I would ask somebody would volunteer to leave for at least a little bit until we can let this.
I'll back out for you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Very generous, Red Wolf.
All right. So whoever that was trying to get in here, Go ahead and give it a shot now.
John is itching for a Christian to come in here, like a real Christian, not a P.
Hey, I'm a
Martin.
real
I'm sorry,
Christian.
Richard, but no, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, John is itching. Like he sent out DMs 2 weeks in a row, and not one has shown. So I don't know. Like maybe John, next Wednesday we will have a closed room for some of the Christians that we've been trying to DM to come in, and maybe it'll be like top 6 people.
I won't come because I'm gonna
freaking DM even Christians I don't know next week, and then we'll start next week's room with nobody can come in for the first several minutes. We can only let Christians. Now,
I bet I could get Nephilim free in here.
Hey,
Neffy likes me now. He likes me.
I see you left the thing that you tried to get in. The room was full. No biggie. Thank you for being so reasonable. But right now, the 10th spot is open. Please come on in. We would like to hear from you. Knox says that he finds you to be one of the most reasonable ones from over in that crew.
From the Brotherhood? Yeah, he is.
We would love for you to come in and to say your piece. And here he is.
I got a piece to say, guys, before he gets started.
Yeah. We will, all right.
Everything I've heard this show has been a conglomerate of Christianity and no specific sect at all. I mean, it's like taking all of the most inconsistent parts of, except for Jim Majors, taking all of the most inconsistent parts and making this kind of a straw man out of that. I mean, I just don't think that's reasonable.
Well, I mean,
what do you mean?
To be fair, it's not exactly reasonable to expect that we can form some sort of an all-encompassing.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying pick one. I'm just asking them to pick one sect of Christianity, so they can be consistent in their arguments. It's like saying, okay, the idea that Lucifer is Satan, is the serpent, is not universal, for one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you mean? Because I think that is the universal interpretation of Satan.
It's a popular one, but it's not universal. I'm sorry.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's a universal one, but it is by and large, I'd say, the most widely accepted one. But even if we just go by like if we just pick one Christian sect, even if we just say like Pentecostalism, and let's talk about who Lucifer is within Pentecostalism. Even then, you will still run into different interpretations.
Well, and just let me make clear, Richard, I've been fairly clear. I was raised in a Southern Baptist upbringing, so when I speak of Satan, I speak of Satan from a Baptist upbringing.
Look, that probably explains why you're. Wait, Richard, hold on. I want to respond to what you said up to this point first. So, with what you said in the beginning about being consistent or pick one or anything. That sounds like a you problem and not an us problem, because there's so many disparate ideologies within Christendom. I mean, that how are we to pick one? Okay,
let me put it this way, John. When someone says atheists believe, and then make a universal statement based in a group that doesn't exist, how do you feel about that?
You can't conflate the two. You cannot conflate the two. We don't have dogma.
Yeah, well, atheism. If you're talking about a claim that's any other claim than God doesn't exist, then I mean, I would say that it's irrelevant. It's a category error.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed.
Well, Richard, you asked me,
but it is relevant in terms of Christianity. I mean, I guess we could just create our own sect like you did, Richard. But
so anyway,
exactly fair. It's pretty accurate, but it's not fair.
Just kidding, man. Pointedly asked me, I'd like to answer Richard. Okay. Yeah, as Jim just said, conflating the two is a category error, or it's erroneous, because the atheists have one commonality: we don't believe in God. Christians have several commonalities back and forth between all the different sects. This sect believes what this sect believes, and doesn't believe what that sect believes. And then you have an overarching huge portion, the Catholics that make up like half of Christendom, and basically have the same dogma. And then there's offshoots like Jim alluded to that you adhere to. So I don't think it's a fair point to try.
I think it's perfectly fair. I mean, the only thing you can universally say about Christians to argue with is you can talk about the Trinity. That's about it.
What?
No. Hellfire belief.
No, not at all. You still have Unitarians within Christianity.
Good
point. And the other thing is wait. The only overarching thing that you can say about Christendom is that every Christian believes Jesus is their Lord and Savior. That's the only thing.
Real quick, John.
Yeah.
We have a Smokey Saint in the house, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a thing here. I'm gonna do a thing, and Smokey, what's up, girl? What's up, girl? All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh wow, that'll last him for like a week probably.
I'll leave if Smokey joins. Well, I was gonna say
no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
I was gonna say
I'll be talking to Smokey tomorrow, so yeah, you don't. I mean, Smokey's not coming up in here.
Yeah, I mean, at P Mars, whenever Smokey enters the room, that elevates you to, from the base.
I bet I looked super high when I went on stream right there because I've been smoking nonstop.
There's probably like too many people here for Smokey. Like he needs to dominate the conversation or he gets bored, right?
I got a question for Jim Majors.
Well, go ahead, Richard. And I do want Chris Keith to pipe in because he did come in at our request. So,
Mr. Majors.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, a little bit of a technical question. Not everyone would appreciate this, but do you see any reason in the original definitions why I can't adopt the context from Genesis, the story of the Garden of Eden, that God is talking about a death of materialism when he says you will die knowing the truth of good and evil, and then Satan switches it to mean death of the body?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can interpret it. I mean, from the original text, I'd have to read it. I mean, again, just to,
because I mean,
to honestly give you, an honest answer. But just cursory, just surface, just what I can remember. I mean, honestly, I don't see how. I mean, obviously, you have the serpent saying something different than what God had threatened Adam and Eve would happen, and people interpret it as different things. So I don't see why you couldn't. I'm just having difficulty making the.
Wouldn't you say it's more in keeping with the rest of the work? It's more continuous. If I said God was claiming that knowledge of good and evil would deeply change you and you would lose your materialism, and then of course that Satan is a liar, changing things, being subtle, right? So misrepresenting what God had said, saying your body would die, and addressing that which was not the original statement.
Well, I mean, some people interpret it not as the body dying, but just as them being able to die eventually. But I've
heard that one too. Yeah,
right. But remember, it says like on that day, like at that time,
sure,
you will surely die.
So, let's just shorten it to enlightenment. Let's just say the knowledge of good and evil is enlightened, just for ease. But I mean, obviously, if a person were enlightened, nowhere is it claimed that enlightenment would kill your flesh. You'd die, like dying of old age or dying of a disease or a heart attack or something, right? But you would have a death that's talked about throughout the Bible. That is to say repentance. That is to say circumcision. That is, it's just a million times in there. I'm exaggerating. It's not a million times, but it's a lot. I mean, that's more in keeping with the text, right?
That your interpretation is more in keeping with the text, or
that the idea of loss of materialism and gaining the idea of spirituality as a form of death, the old man is dead, the new man lives on, all those expressions, is more in keeping with the Bible than the idea that God said you would die, your flesh would die the day that you ate of the tree.
What do you mean by like the loss of materialism? You mean like by everything being provided for them?
No. I'm sorry. I thought it would be clear. I guess not.
No,
So,
David,
Chris,
understanding what
Chris
you mean by
Keith,
the
jump
loss
in
of
here.
materialism.
The loss of the idea of strict materialism, that we have no spirit. If you knew the difference between good and evil, you would lose the idea of materialism.
I don't see where the loss of the idea would be a considerable threat. And it wouldn't
not
explain
losing
why
an
we
idea,
still
losing
have it.
value in the idea.
Right.
Like you'd become a spiritual person according to the story. That doesn't follow.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, we're still very, very materialist. I guess you could say we have more evidence for our materialism being intact than the concept of our spirituality or our spiritualism.
That's obviously true in science.
My only question to that would be, why do we still have a sense of materialism?
Because we haven't eaten it, we have not learned the truth of good and evil. That's obvious. That's how we can improve in laws and societal norms. It's how we're improving. We don't have perfection.
Hey, real quick, let me SJ, please indicate to me in the live chat whether you'd like to commit or not, because we'll do some shuffling around to get you in here if you'd like to join us.
Let Chris talk, because freaking Richard kept asking Jim Majors 100 questions.
Is Knox still in the room?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Hey, I just I'm from East Tennessee. Where you from? Where did you live in the South?
Right outside Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So we were literally about 35 minutes from Tennessee. So.
Oh yeah, so you touch on the border.
Yeah, the Blue Ridge Parkway was my friend.
So, who next from the atheist side of things would volunteer to step out, because SJ wants to come in here and we want to kind of even up.
Well, it doesn't have to quite be an atheist. We do have a P Mars in the house. I mean, I love you, P Mars, but I can only really have you in the room as a racist for so long. So.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. So
yeah, she said
so
she can't
here
come in
I'm putting the
with her husband.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Well, it's good anyway. I thought when she said thanks to me that she was indicating she wanted to come in, but now she's saying thanks, John, but I'm hanging out with the hubby now, so I can't.
Why don't we let good old shh?
And
SJ did some questionable things on Twitter.
I kicked out P Mars. Oh gosh, how will I ever forgive myself?
Oh no, you've committed a greatest sin of all.
Well, the thing is P Mars has a lot to do because he needs to go stand down and stand by.
Oh fuck!
All P Mars matter.
I do appreciate P Mars coming in and being somewhat of a serious interlocutor tonight. It's like a 50-50 thing. He'll do that. So I do thank you, P Mars, but I can only take you so much. I get a lot of shit for even allowing you on the channel because you are a known racist. So sayonara, my man.
So, all right. Anyhow, so Chris Keith.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say, just coming on here and kind of just listening. Do you guys not feel like you might be a little bit of a religion?
Well, we're not at all. We don't.
It kind of feels like a religious service in here. Like you're kind of getting together and talking about the Bible.
What kind of church do you go to? Whenever I went to church, it was one person talking to everybody else.
Well, and it's no different than what I see of a lot of
religion.
Christian
I mean, just dogmatic set of beliefs. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not dogmatic. In fact, I would say that the lack of dogmatism is the most appealing factor.
There's no dogma in atheism. You don't think there's any?
No, absolutely not.
I would say that people can be dogmatic about their atheism, which is rare, but atheism is not inherently dogmatic.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there are plenty of examples, but no, like atheism simply.
So the only thing that to be a atheist, you just has to be the lack of belief in God. That's it.
You just say no. I don't believe in any God. That's atheism. Yes. I mean, it is the literally same thing as your answer, Chris Keith, to whether or not you believe in, let's say, Zeus, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, but there are no rituals. There's no moral foundation from which we subscribe to. There's no There's no ceremonies. There's no holy days.
There's no literary framework.
Like that.
Yeah, but you are dogmatic that there is no gods, though, right?
No. Being
about
dogmatic about it means that we can never change our mind about it.
Yeah.
You can not believe in God.
So everybody
and
in here
not be
believes that
dogmatic about it.
everybody here believes that there is a possibility there could be a God.
Yes.
I do.
I
just know that what I've read.
Hold on. I want to respond to what you said. Hold on. I want to respond to what you said. I would say that every atheist would believe in God if it was shown to exist. So if you show us empirical evidence that the supernatural, that God really does exist, then most atheists would.
It has to be empirical.
Hold on.
I want to respond as well.
Hold on. Let me finish.
So
All right.
Okay,
so
take your time.
If you showed us that there actually was a God that existed, most atheists would, much like science does, believe that there's no God provisionally. If you show us their God, we will believe in God. We will then be theists and believe in God. Now, then you go to that question of would we worship that God? If that God was the Abrahamic God, most atheists I talk to would believe that God existed, but would not worship that horrible genocidal being.
Right. And I just want to add that in order to be dogmatically atheist, that means that even if God were to present himself to you right in front of you, you would still not believe. Dogmatic means that you hold to this belief no matter what, no matter the changing of the times, no matter scientific discoveries, no matter what.
Well, yeah, and there are scales, and there are many of them. I still believe Dawkins' scale is probably the best one. And, I consider myself to be an agnostic atheist, Chris Keats. So, and I consider myself that merely because I grant the premise that a God could exist. But I don't believe in a single man-made God that has been contrived by man. I don't believe in a single one. So by that definition, I am an atheist. But there are scales. There are atheists out there that would tell you emphatically that no God exists and it's not possible for a God to exist. It's like there's different levels of Christianity. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, but what would you say about the atheist? A long time ago, I had an atheist try to convert me to atheism. He went on a long thing, and we had a talk, and he said basically at the end, come on, jump in. The water's cold, but it's refreshing. I'll never forget that that quote he gave me, and it's just like in my mind, he was trying to convert me. So, what would you call an atheist like that?
Well, I think some atheists might try to do that. I've never been one of them. That's a question I get a lot from a lot of the Christians that I have spoken to, and I've always said the same thing. I'm sure that there are atheists out there speaking to the crowd, trying to change minds. I'm not. I just try to provide good content that atheists can watch and have a place that they can go. That's always been my intention. I'll let other atheists speak up, though.
Oh, well, I was just teasing a little bit about it. Hold on. I started first there real quick. The other thing is that, okay, so if you as an atheist don't ascribe to the beliefs that a theist has, and then you offer up counter arguments to that with the intention of like what Matt Dillahunty says, you want people to believe the most things that are true and the fewest things that are false. I don't see how you can equate that to proselytizing. When you talk about ideas and ideologies and disagreeing with them, I don't necessarily. I'm not saying that your story there was untrue. I mean, maybe there was a person that did that to you and was proselytizing to you for atheism, but offering counter arguments to beliefs, it does not equate to proselytizing someone to your beliefs. You're giving them a counter argument, and then you're letting them decide to analyze their beliefs and decide if there's something wrong with them.
Yeah, real quick, just a personal contribution to what John is saying. I've never once tried to convert Matt Powell to atheism, right? But I have had Matt Powell very recently try to convert me to his worldview, and I had his family try to do so. His brothers, his dad, in person, face to face, try to convert me, when I never did that to them. I just went there as the raging atheist and I showed up and I was myself.
Right.
So I mean, that's just a direct correlation to the two different sides of the argument, one being a dogmatic worldview, the other being a simple answer to a question. Now, my personal worldview is secular humanism, and I'm incorporating, as Leo has implied, naturalism, because naturalism, I believe, explains most of it.
Right.
So
I think what you're thinking of is proselytizing as far as like the whole conversion thing. Because I mean, like whenever I make an argument, I may be making an argument for atheism or against theism, but it's not necessarily an attempt to convert, but it is an attempt to change your mind about the current topic.
So I just wanted to say that I would state that I know no gods exist to the same degree of certainty that I know no dragons exist, no fairies exist, no leprechauns exist, and no butt cheese exists on the moon.
No butt cheese.
Are you sure about that?
Butt cheese,
I am
maybe
sure
not.
of there being no gods to the same degree I am sure that there are no dragons.
I have empirical evidence of butt cheese.
Yeah, there might not be any butt cheese on the moon, but there definitely was butt cheeks at one point.
Yeah. So actually, you never know if they maybe farted out, and there might be some butt cheese lingering around somewhere. So let me take that last.
Before this devolves into a total fucking National Lampoon episode, let's let Chris respond to all the gish galop that every one of us just threw at him.
Oh no, it's fine. I just from what I've read or seen, there's like, I thought there was just like atheist was one thing, but apparently there's like hard, weak, and then agnostic atheists. Is that correct?
Atheism is fluid, yes.
Okay,
I
so
would say it's fluid.
what would be a weak atheist?
A weak atheist is just someone that doesn't believe. They don't say that there are no gods, right? They just say that I don't believe in God, right? They're not saying that there's no gods. That's a weak atheist. It's just a lack of belief.
I think I call myself agnostic atheist, but I would technically be a weak atheist, I believe.
Okay, so you'd agree though the ones that atheists.
Wait, let me clarify for you. What Leo Filius just said a moment ago, that is an example of hard atheism.
Yeah, that's what. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I would consider myself a hard atheist.
for me, a hard atheist is someone that takes the plunge, and that they know there is no God. So see, right there, you can't know that. So that's
I know it to the same degree that I know there's no dragons or leprechauns or fairies.
Right.
So basically, what he's saying is,
and I agree with Leo on that shit.
And basically, what Leo is saying is, even his statement doesn't preclude that there's some outside chance that a God might exist. What he's trying to explain, as far as like when it comes to explanatory power, there's so little explanatory power in the idea that a God exists. He's just saying it's on the level of, because there's still a possibility that dragons could exist. Okay,
well, and it's so easy to understand.
Level is what he's saying,
and it's so easy to understand, Chris. I'm like, there have been thousands upon thousands of gods, right? You believe in one of them. Mm-hmm. So apply how you don't believe in the rest of them to that one more, and you come to atheism.
That's a fact. I mean, I've heard that one before, but that's like,
I got to run to the loo. I'll be
right. That's like the one away. That's the one away argument. Like, I'm one away from being a murderer. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, monolithic gods are actually, and Jim Majors.
I mean, it's possible that there is one right God.
I'm saying monolithic gods, and Jim Majors knows history a bit better than me, so he can correct me. Are actually a rarity when you look at the history of gods themselves. I mean, monolithic is kind of a newer ideology. Yeah. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I mean, over the scope of like religion and like the evolution of religion. Yeah, I mean, monotheism and like what you call monolithic deities. That they are a fairly recent development. But even within those monolithic religions or monolithic deities, you still have things like you still have polytheistic remnants, like you have the Trinity, you have like within Hinduism, some forms of Hinduism are considered monotheistic, yet even though they have one deity, it's one deity split up into three.
Well, and the other thing is in the Bible, even without the Trinity, the argument could be made that the Bible is talking in polytheistic terms because they mention other gods in the Bible in a lot of places.
Right, but they're not. I mean, then they're not monotheistic because they still recognize other gods. Whether it's monolatrism or henotheism.
I mean, you can still be. I would think you can still be monotheistic and believe there are other gods. Like you don't worship them. I guess maybe.
Well, no, because even if you recognize that there are other ones, but worship only one, that's still monolatry. So you acknowledge other gods and their existence, but you only worship one.
Can I elaborate on that for a second? And this is kind of what I'm getting from that, is that theism or deism, whether mono or poly, isn't necessarily the worship of a god. That's a part of it, but it's the acknowledgement of their existence. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, no, I mean, I think you're right. And the other thing is even without all that, when it comes to Christianity, I think that you could make the claim that it's polytheistic simply on the basis that they're saying that Satan exists. Because if Satan has all the power God does, even though Christians would say, well, I worship God and I denounce Satan, well...
Or the Trinity. Yeah, specifically, some interpretations of the Trinity could be considered very polytheistic.
Yeah, I like John's argument better because, I mean, if Satan is also omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipotent, well, not necessarily omnipotent, but omnipotent, omniscient, immortal, eternal, like God, wouldn't Satan
it doesn't say in the Bible he's eternal.
Well, not to mention that the Bible actually mentions other gods. This will be the second time sorry, John. This will be the second time I shout out Ocean Keltoy, but Ocean Keltoy made another video where he talks about Yahweh getting his ass beat by a different god. Go check it out. Ocean Keltoy is brilliant. So,
what I'd said a moment ago was, what was that, Chris? Because Chris interjected something in it. I want to give him a chance to be.
No, I was just answering or saying to Leo that it doesn't say that Satan is eternal in the Bible.
You are actually correct there. It doesn't specify that he's eternal.
Okay, but he was born actually only one. Lucifer and Satan, I believe it's only one time in the Bible that they're compared to the same thing, although Jesus does use the word Satan.
Well, Lucifer isn't identified. I mean, Satan is. So Satan is something that can mean an adversary or just somebody who is against you. But sometimes it's used with the definite article Hashatan, which they're actually referring to one actor or one character. But as far as like Lucifer goes, Lucifer wasn't identified as like Satan or the devil until Christianity, until well into Christianity, until like the second, third century. I think the second century.
And this is a guy.
Say that again.
What's that?
Say that last part again. Your very last part. What'd you say?
Oh, that Lucifer wasn't identified as the devil or as this
Lucifer wasn't
underground character, right? Until the second century. Until I believe it was Tertullian who's the first one.
But and I know the Bible doesn't say that he's eternal, but it also doesn't ever say that angels die of old age or anything like that. And he is he's an angel. So that doesn't make sense. And then also,
well, I believe the Bible teaches that it will be destroyed. I don't believe in eternal torture pit doctrine. So I think that's. I mean,
so if angels are
there's hundreds of passages that back it up, and you would have one or two that would support eternal torture pit doctrine.
So what is a fallen angel?
Excuse me?
So what is a fallen angel?
The fallen angel? Satan would be an example of a fallen angel. And any of the angels that followed him would be fallen angels.
Why didn't God kill them?
Why didn't God kill them?
That followed who?
That followed Satan.
Satan isn't the name of any being in heaven.
Satan was cast out of heaven.
Satan, what verse is that?
Hang on a second.
If angels are gonna die in the end, in Revelation.
I love watching Jim Majors at work.
Well,
I just really do.
Satan made his own choice to leave heaven.
Well, no, I know exactly where Jim Majors is going, but I'm gonna wait.
I'm gonna step out, guys. But thanks for letting
And
me
I
on.
always call him Jim Majors, like he's not just my friend Jim. I'm sorry, Jim.
No, you're good.
Hold on. Who said that they were heading off?
Oh, I'm gonna step out. Good meeting y'all.
All right,
I enjoy
take it easy,
listening to
Michael.
you
Oh
guys
yeah,
talk.
yeah.
Peace and
Thank you
respect,
so
Michael.
much for coming on, Michael X. Come on anytime. And
No, I'll come back for sure.
Mad props, my man. Thank you for stepping into the conversation as a newer atheist. I appreciate it.
Thanks. See y'all later.
Peace out.
You know, eventually, Jim, what this does is it reveals the inconsistencies within the reading frames that people have adopted. It doesn't even speak to the text.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
Well, and Richard, I think that's a major problem in society. Is I get attacked for my interpretation of the Bible, and yet my interpretation of the Bible, when I do my Bible is Stupid series, is a very Baptist interpretation of the Bible. It's a very evangelical interpretation of the Bible, and I'm very clear about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate that it's consistent within the teachings you received. I really appreciate that. You don't just go all over the place.
Hey,
Right.
quick,
Thanks, Richard. Thank you for that. I don't get that from too many Christians.
just real quick, so I'm on the same page here. So right now, are we waiting? Chris is looking something up in the Bible to.
Oh, well, we can move on whenever he finds it. He can let us know.
Okay.
Well,
spoiler alert.
I just want to get correct.
You're not going to find it.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to give you passages off the top, man. I'm going to give you the actual passages without paraphrasing.
I'll give you a hint. What you're looking for is in Isaiah 14. Or what you think you're looking for is in Isaiah 14.
Yeah, Jim knows his Bible,
Yeah.
Chris,
No,
better
I'm in
than I do.
I'm in Ezekiel, but go ahead.
So, can I ask Jim a quick question? It's either you have a bachelor's and you're pursuing a master's, or you have a master's and you're pursuing a PhD. Which one is it? I can't remember.
I'm sorry. One more time. You're kind of cutting out on me.
Okay. So what level of degree do you currently have, and what are you pursuing?
So I currently have a Master of Theology in New Testament Studies, and I'm a PhD candidate in Hebrew Bible, Old Testament studies.
Awesome. Can I ask where you're going? What school?
I don't want to reveal it until I graduate, just due to an article of faith. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I get
real
that.
quick, Chris Keith, just so you know, Jim's a former preacher.
And just because I can't resist, Jim's going to hell if he don't change his ways.
And we still have one spot open. So, Frustrated Atheist, if you are still in the chat, please come in, my man. I love having you on, Russ. Would love to have you on. Or Smokey, please come in.
Smokey! I'm sorry, I have to do that. I have to.
Dude.
We still have 2 hours until my hard stop. So come on in. Come on.
Well, I
in.
mean, and it would be fitting because
I thought Smokey was around. Wasn't Smokey not around a minute ago?
Yeah, he's still here, I think.
Okay.
It would be fitting if Smokey came in because we just got rid of one reprehensible piece of shit, P. Mars.
Smokey,
let me address this real quick. Smokey, no, I haven't been a Baptist in over 20 years. There has been a lot of research done since then, my friend.
A good video about Lilith in the Bible is by, I think, Trey the Explainer. He does a pretty good video about it. I forget what it's called.
Now y'all are making me pull out my motherfucking Bible here.
I have like 5.
Because this is a young Bible, and it's a young person's Bible, and it's got annotations, and they've got a page on Lilith. Let's see if I can find
Well, I believe that's Jeremy Pace up in the house. What up, Jeremy?
What's going on with the rage?
What's up, man?
You know, you scared me there for a minute, Leo. You said I have to pull out, and I was wondering who was on your chat.
Oh, John, you mean what Smokey's dad should have done with his mom?
Jim Majors, isn't Satan
Ooh, I
a
just went
serpent?
low.
Isn't Satan like a dragon or a serpent? Did it try to attack heaven with a third of God's angels?
Where the fuck?
That they rebelled.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess
are you there? Or is it who's the fella I was talking to there? I'm sorry, Jim Majors.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead. You go ahead and finish there, buddy. I won't cut you off. I was just making sure he was still there. I didn't know if he left.
Oh no, I was just saying. Yeah, I mean, some translate it as the dragon, the devil, Lucifer, but those are all later translations from the original Hebrew. The original Hebrew was just Halel, and what they're talking about there, that was identified with Venus, the light bringer, the bringer of light. And it wasn't until much later, starting with the translators of the Septuagint, that it began being identified as other things.
So my question is, Revelations 12.
Revelation.
Yeah, Revelation 12. I think it's 7 through 22 or something like that. No, actually, it'd be Revelation, right? So that's what I was talking about in the ESV anyway. That's what they listed as. He's like a, and it says when he was thrown down from heaven, that it's weird because it said that he was fighting with angels, right? But then later it says that when he was thrown down from heaven, his tail swept 13 of a third of the stars out of the sky and brought him to
Yeah, but
earth with
the
him.
reason I was going into
Weird.
that because the Bible doesn't necessarily state that he was originally an angel. That I can remember. That's what I was really looking on. You being you were ex-preacher. You was an ex-preacher. Do you know of one?
Don't know of one. What?
The Bible explicitly says that he was originally indeed an angel.
Oh,
I mean, and not a cherub. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
real quick,
go ahead, Jim.
Because you go back to your original question, or somebody asked me what was about the fallen angels. So I mean,
right. Well, I mean, a cherub
I need to interrupt you guys for just a
angel.
quick second, so I want to address this thing from the chat. Okay?
Because he masquerades as angel of
Holy
light.
fuck! Am I muted or something?
No,
I'm sorry, buddy.
Good. You're good, John.
So a minute ago, I shared a comment. Iron Cherry Tier said to Smokey Snake, "Man, please stop debating science. You suck at it." And then this is Smokey Saint's response. Iron Cherry Tier, you never debate, so how can we value your opinion? So now, someone has to engage in debate live on air before their opinion means anything. I mean, Smokey, you have got to be the most illogical person I've ever encountered in my life. Okay, the fact that someone debates lends no credence to their claims or their beliefs. So anyway, go ahead, guys. I'm sorry I interrupted.
I do got a quick question for Rage and Jim Majors. When's the Merlin Earthshrug coming?
When is what?
Merlin Earthshrug coming.
Did you catch that?
One more time, you roboted.
The Merlin Earl Show.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm driving through a bad area.
Yeah,
the
we
Merlin
haven't
Earl
talked
Show.
about that.
Man.
We haven't talked about that, but we probably need to.
Yeah, we should. And I think John might even want to get up in that, honestly.
What is the Merle and Earl Show exactly?
I'm Burl.
Some redneck personas of Noka's and mine that he had started it with his Earl, and then I was on a stream with him and kind of did the same thing he was doing, called it Merle, and it just kind of became a thing.
Yeah, and people have been asking about it ever since. We have to do it, and I know John just brought it up the other day. He wants to be a part of it. And it will start. I'm gonna go back and find that, Jim, and I'm gonna make that like a little like snippet of we have to do Marilyn Earl.
And what was the there was a video we were reviewing where I was saying, hey, we should get a hold of Jim Majors and actually do this critique as if
it was recent. I can't remember which one, but it was recent. Yeah.
So now this is what I love about Smokey Saint. He gets on. Well, here just to use my own persona to he gets on that horse and he beats that dead horse until it's a pile of mush, man. So he responds to me, gee, John, sounds like another opinion from another person who never debates. Smokey Saint, you abject pussy motherfucker piece of shit. I have challenged you to debate more than once, okay? And you have ran away, okay? I'm telling you that right now. You have ran away. Well, wait a minute, let me finish. Anytime you want to debate on any topic of your choice, name it, dude, okay? Because you are the stupidest motherfucker I have ever met in the YouTube community, okay? And you're a misogynist and a bigot, and you are, without a doubt, one of the biggest pieces. You are like a Trump-level piece of shit in this world. Anyway, go ahead, folks. That's my
tell us how you really feel, brother. Come on,
tell us. All right. John, you'll get that. You'll get that thick skin with Smokey as I did. But I do have to interject and say this is the moderator from my debate tomorrow night. In my side chat, totally triggered. I'm going into a debate where it's pretty much 2-on-1, and that's why my avatar tonight is hashtag Stapler Boy.
I have a question about that. Really
I
quick.
don't know why you decided to do it on his channel.
How do you get a picture to not be a circle but to be the full?
It's a OBS virtual tool.
I think Smokey will be fair. I think Smokey will be fair at moderating. I mean, I think he will.
I think he will too. I think he will too. I think he will too. And
you can talk what you want about his insults and all that, but I mean, generally, man, he's pretty fair when it comes to stuff like that.
Why I'm doing it on Smokey's channel? For one, I agree to it on Smokey's channel. I agree to it in the situation. I'm a man of my word, but also, I'm not afraid to go anywhere. I will go anywhere. So if you want to have a conversation with me or a debate, I'll go where you want to. I will play by the rules you hand me, and it will be what it is.
By the way, while we're on the topic, Smokey, can you ask everybody else in the Brotherhood why none of them will debate me on anything at all, or even so much as have a discussion with me? I find that funny. All of them.
Oh, I did have something for you though, Leah Phyllis. The term abortion from Webster's. You used a dictionary a little while ago, so I'm gonna use. Whoa! You just used it for a general definition.
No, I didn't. I used the Oxford.
A little while ago, you didn't.
No, I used the Oxford English Dictionary.
So you got a problem?
I don't use Merriam-Webster because it's not accurate in a lot of things, and a lot of professionals don't use it either. They use the Oxford English Dictionary and the Cambridge English Dictionary.
Hey, real quick. Hold on, real quick. I just put the link in the chat. That was for Marty Camijo. Please don't anybody else try and come in. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I can make a. I got a couple. I appreciate y'all letting me come on. I do have another stream to get to, but
what are you afraid of, Marty Camijo?
Do what? Afraid of what?
What? Well, I'm just wondering if you were like Jill and you won't talk to women.
Oh
no. Chris has always been fair with me.
The reason I came in was because I saw what Rage said. He was wanting some Christians to come in, and I'm always game to talk, and
I'll tell you what,
he's always game to come talk on our site. So I figured I'd do the same.
Hey Chris, before you go, I just want to, if you ever want to hit me up on Twitter or whatever, and talk about the Bible.
Yeah, I have the verses pulled. I have some verses pulled up now. I'm just not one to
No. Yeah. I mean, we don't have to do it here. We can talk later about whatever topic you want. I just want to let you know that
I had some verses pulled up for what you were talking about, because that kind of gets pretty. I would agree that I would say heavenly host might be a word, but I wouldn't have no problem with angel. There's where you're talking about the mid-chair, but I know the verse you're talking about in Isaiah, and we go to Revelation and back to Ezekiel. But what was? You can put it in the side chat real quick. And what was your?
I got. Sorry, thought you were done. I got an FYI.
I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone and computer. That always throws me off. I'm on my phone and computer. Sorry. Let me look in the side chat here. Did you put?
Hey, Chris. I just want to say,
Spartan
man.
Theology.
I want
Spartan Theology
to
wants a spot. He's a Christian.
John. Jim was trying to respond to Chris.
Right, I realized that, but I had jumped in before he spoke because I just wanted to real quick thank Chris and tell him that he's welcome on here anytime. Very reasonable human being.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to disagree, man, but as long as it doesn't come like trolling, I was teasing around trolling a little bit. You guys troll us, but as long as it's all fair, I'm fine with fair trolling. But when some people take it to a point to where they're just, it's like it's interrupting the conversation. You know what I mean? And
I do that a lot on purpose.
Well, I mean, that's like spamming to me, like orally spamming, and it's just like. That's what happened. Was anybody around? Leo, I think Leo might have been on that channel the other night on Praise's channel, where it just turned into a crap show, man, and nobody could get a word in. And Nicholas was on there, I guess.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, I was trying to keep order in that room.
Yeah, and my apologies. I need to interject something for the chat again. Spartan Theology, yes, absolutely. Come on in. Marty hasn't shown up yet, and Chris said he's going to be leaving, so there'll still be a spot open.
Yeah, I'll make a spot there. If you got, how long are you going to plan on running the stream for a little while?
Yeah, he said a couple hours.
Well, we'll be here till 11, between 11 and 12.
Okay, cool. Then I might stop back in.
No, I'm sorry, I misspoke. 10 or 11 will be.
Yeah, between 10 and 11.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I might stop back in an hour if there's room, and because I like to it is the difference, I guess, in our worldviews is it's kind of I don't know if I would say my duty, but yeah, I would say my duty to kind of spread the gospel and to, I don't know, I need to defend God, but I don't mind to, and give my really testimony is what I like to give, because I think it's the most powerful thing. But thanks for having me, guys. I'll maybe try to stop back here in a little while. Take care.
It easy, Chris.
Hey, Rage, Marty says she's backstage and I don't see her.
Can I
just told her that I'll send it to her on Facebook. I just got to open it up.
I wanted to make a comment because I asked Smokey why nobody in the Brotherhood will have a discussion with me. He said because you are a horrible human being, which is just an argumentum ad hominem. It doesn't really address anything. But I noticed that ever since I went into one of LPP streams and educated the whole fucking stream on quantum mechanics, because none of them knew what the fuck they were talking about, nobody wants to have a discussion with me, especially concerning science. I wonder why.
Yeah, Smokey's that's quite ironic because he's quite a terrible person.
Knock, do you have Spartan Theology in DMs too?
No.
Yeah, because I the thing I posted in live chat must not have been a good link or something.
Yeah, I've been posting it in live chat. I'll do it again.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I
did send the link to Marty via Facebook, so I'm gonna let her come in first.
Well, and then Spartan Theology wanted to come in, and I see Jeremy came back. So.
I can leave to make room.
No, we don't want you to leave, for Christ's sakes. You're the only reasonable person in the room.
Excuse me. I don't know about
what, John.
That's a
wow, John.
Dude, it was a fucking joke, all right? Because
the heart, John.
I was saying it about
a bunch of triggered Christians in here.
Yeah. I think John just put his middle finger up my butthole.
No, I was putting it up Jim's butthole.
Oh yeah,
Jim's trying to get me to leave or stay.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep. A little bit quiet, but we can hear you.
Yeah, hold on. I'll be right back. I don't know if you.
Oh, that's perfect.
All right. And Jeremy, I am giving Marty a bit of a chance to come in, and if she can't, then we will bring you back in. My man.
Well,
I am fucking tired already. It's like 9:00. Shit.
Hey, well, here's the thing, though, is Jeremy can't sit backstage because even when people are backstage, it won't allow anybody else to come in. I just got the notification that when he and Spartan Theology were here, that
the issues of open rooms. So
yeah, hey, Mutable Destiny and Jeremy, we're gonna have to ask you to leave because there was 2 people we promised a spot to that are coming in right now.
I got one of those spots. Peace and respect, gentlemen. Have a great night.
All right.
Later, buddy.
Okay.
damn it,
All right.
damn it, Richard. And there went Immutable. Damn it, Richard. I still had shit to say to Richard.
Immutable. I don't know if you noticed, but Richard popped out of the room, which made 3 spots. So if you come in right now, there'll still be a spot for Marty when she shows up. So please come back in, Immutable. And welcome, Spartan.
Immutable just said he's backstage.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's better. That sounds better. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to see you. We've never met before. Yeah. So hello.
Spartan Theology. I know that name from side chats, and I don't know on what channel. I
watch too much YouTube and get mad at random people inside chat. So.
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah.
And don't we all? I mean, I watch a little too much YouTube, particularly with forensic files and like Prison Break.
Like, do people even own cable anymore? I'm just asking.
Yeah, man. Like, I pirate a lot of stuff. I'm just going to be honest.
Well, the only cable that I have left is I have a cable, in my bedroom that I use for autoerotic asphyxiation.
We still have DirecTV, but that's because my grandma's old school, and that's all she's ever known. We tried to do the YouTube TV, and she just was not having it. And so we're like,
I'll tell you what, bringing your grandma up after my last comment is really weird.
Yeah, it's really weird that's where your mind went. Come on now.
Hey, pretty much the only thing I use cables for is to charge my freaking electronic devices because they have.
By the way, Richard, yes, I did see that, and I appreciate that. And when I figure out what picture I want to use, I'm gonna do that.
Oh no, Leo.
What?
Yeah, I can take a shot in the dark and say it's probably something Amelia.
No, why would I do that? You know what? Just because you said that, this is what I'm going to do.
Cripes.
I was gonna say, isn't any channel on like cable that has any kind of good content? They basically have their own. You can get online straight from them.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some areas like HBO and stuff like that are trying to prevent that from happening, but it ain't gonna work.
Well, no, like I have HBO Go, but I don't have any kind of cable. Like all I have is internet.
Let's just put it this way, right? Like if a 5-year-old can hack into the freaking federal banks, I would not put people to pirate and download videos illegally.
Yeah, I don't know. The way I look at it is if you make billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars and I can find it for free, I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
billionaires should not exist, but that's a completely different topic, and I don't want to go down that road, and I don't think
boy.
Stream wants to either. So
why did you even open Pandora's box?
That wasn't Pandora's box I opened.
Well, it's Pandora's second box.
Yeah, it's the one that's that nobody wants to open, and I just opened it. Oh shit!
Pandora's second box. What said that?
I heard you, Marty. I could hear what you said.
Okay, hello. I was just checking to make sure. I was on my phone before.
There's a little bit of a staticky. I think it's worse for other people than for me, but
yeah, it's like static or electrical hiss. I don't know which.
It kind of sounds like you're using a shoe as a microphone.
I'm using my laptop as a microphone.
Something is wrong with that microphone.
Yeah, somebody steal from Orange Soda.
Hold on. Do you have headphones? You know what? I'll let Jim explain it because he knows more than I do. I shouldn't open my mouth.
I mean, I usually use the cam on
Holy
my.
shit! That's ear murder.
It sounds like. Have you guys ever heard of like somebody that has smoked their whole lives and they have that little thing they put to their
Oh my god!
Hang on.
I was thinking it sounded like you're talking through like a kazoo or whatever that little thing is called.
Okay, but what's the thing called that Jim just brought up? That they hold it to their throat and it
voice box.
Nope. That wasn't me.
Tracheotomy or something.
That was me. That was me, John. But I'm not mad at you for comparing me to the mustache.
Okay.
Bad.
Hey, here's something I might have asked him this already, but if I did and he gave me an answer, I forgot. Because as everybody knows, Knock is a straight up giant. But how tall are you, Jim?
I'm 5'11".
Oh, okay.
Damn it! I'm probably the shortest motherfucker here. I'm only 5'8".
I'm only like 5'10".
You're definitely short.
Do you know what I fear irrationally in life?
What?
Midgets.
Oh man,
Jesus!
Biting your ankles.
Like short people freak me out, man. Y'all short.
So you don't have one of those weird like internet like midget dominatrix kind of like weird
Oh
fetishes.
no.
So,
They
Immutable,
scare
you
me.
said after I shared my height, you said you feel better. What are you, like 6'4"?
6'2".
Oh, fuck you.
Not quite
Yeah, I'm
as much
6'2".
as not.
Holy
Is
shit!
that better?
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Hold
much
the
better.
motherfucking presses. Stupid horror energy says she's only 5'3", and I am positive she's 9 feet tall.
Yeah, really. Not enough.
She's only an inch taller than my future wife.
She's
I could
5'3", but she has 50-pound brass balls.
Well, there you go.
I just want to add to what Knock was sharing with us is that Knock has this reoccurring dream where he's Gulliver.
I do have a reoccurring dream about flying through Tennessee for some reason. I haven't figured out in like 43 years. I don't know why.
I got a question similar to that. I have a reoccurring dream where I fly through Tennessee tuxedo.
Does anybody know how tall James Coombs is? Because that dude he's a big man. He's not a small man. Does anybody know how tall he is? He's got to be like 6'2" or 6'3", if not taller.
I think James is around my size.
Yeah, James is just like beefy.
He's got fucking
Because I
shoulders
saw
on him.
when Aaron Raw and what was the name? Don McElroy, I don't know how you pronounce his name, did that
I saw
debate.
that.
I saw them sitting next to each other. James did not look much smaller than Aaron, and Aaron is not a small man. And I don't mean that he's
no, he's
fat. He's
not.
just
Hey, real quick,
raw. He's just not fair.
not to derail the conversation, the fascinating discussion of people's height, but Spartan Theology had asked to come in, and presumably he had something he wanted to talk about. I want to give him a chance to jump in here and maybe.
Yeah. I didn't really have anything specific I was going to bring up. I figured I'd see where the conversation was going, but didn't expect to be talking about how tall Jim and Aaron Raw are. So
Yeah. It's kind of
I'm
what
just saying.
That's kind of
I'm
like
just saying.
that's kind of why I was trying to throw it to you because I get us on track for a.
Yeah, I wish I had something now. I'm like thinking, I don't know.
All I'm saying is I'm 6'5" and I am top 3% of the evolutionary chain. I'm just saying.
You know, fuck off. You don't have to brag.
I'm like 5'7", probably 5'8".
What size shoe do you wear, Knock?
15 and a half.
Jesus
Christ.
I wear a 16, so I got you beat at least there.
How much can
Man,
you
you
bet?
guys wear freaking kayaks.
You have a bigger penis than me.
I mean, do you guys have to go? Do you guys have to go to the circus store and buy clown shoes?
Pretty much.
I have to go to the big and tall store to buy pants. Yes.
I have a question. If you wear Chuck Taylors, can you walk on water?
No, my big ass sinks straight to the bottom.
Holy shit.
Knock, how much can you bench?
In my prime, when I was an athlete, I got up to about 365.
Holy fuck!
I might do 90 now, maybe 90. You know.
What?
I mean, really, the height doesn't have much to do with that. I mean, because
not pretty. He's got some broad to him, some breadth to him as well.
Well, yeah, but
I used to, but thank you.
But I mean, I've known many people that much shorter than Knock that could bench well over 400 pounds.
Yeah.
I've always had a good frame. Unfortunately, I've sat on my ass for 3 years doing YouTube, so
As I say, he's got a little soft around the edges lately.
Yeah, me too. Like when I was, I'm 5'11". When I was a teenager, I topped out at somewhere in the area of what he was saying, as far as for like one rep, and I could work out with 225. But if I tried to bench like a case of beer right now, I probably couldn't.
I don't know how much I can bench. All I know is I got that foundry strength.
How much can I bench?
I am fortunate enough to be a very big man, so people just don't fuck with me anymore. So.
Isn't that such a nice thing?
I was about to say, Knock. I'm thinking you're 6'5". I don't know. You could, even if you're like not that type of guy, you could probably fuck someone up if you really wanted to.
I used to be a very violent person. Thankfully, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I was raised in North Carolina. Like we literally, me and my best friends went outside when we were drunk, and we would just play a game called Splat. That is basically beat the shit out of each other. Last man standing is the best, you know. And
yeah, that's a hood game, as far as I know.
Yep.
You said North Carolina?
Yeah,
yeah, North Carolina.
I grew up in South Carolina, so.
Nathan, you're
not
not
growing up. That was equally violent, but the name wasn't that great. It was forgive the pejorative, but it was called Smear the Queer.
That's I've heard of that.
Oh, I love that game.
We played that game. That was like a football iteration, though.
Yeah. Whoever had the football had to run for their lives.
Well, yeah, it was usually like a can or something like that.
Dude, where I grew up, when we played basketball, it was like playing fucking football, tackle football.
On the subject of the fighting and people's size and stuff, my cousin's husband always used to say that a big man against a small man of equal skills, the big man will always prevail because of the more reach.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so they got the reach and the weight on them.
Wait. My caveat was if they had equal skills.
All right, yeah. I can see that, but like the worst ass beating I've ever taken was by the shortest little motherfucker. I mean, I looked down and this dude was uppercutting me, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh shit! Thus your fear of midgets.
I've taken down someone Knox size before.
Yeah, I don't seem to have too many problems with people my size. The short people, again, short people scare me.
I live in Iowa.
You guys are scrappy.
Germans I'm the smallest guy in my state. I swear to God, all these big ass fucking Germans that can wrestle, and I'll give them that. They can wrestle. They can't throw. I'm sorry, they can't throw hands. They can't.
Oh shit! Where I grew up, they used to all the gangs used to have what they called FSU night, right? Like different nights of the week, but for depending on what gang you're in. But it's like where they would take all the BGs out, right? And they would take them out, and they're like, "All right, fuck that motherfucker up right there." They just point somebody out, go fuck them up right there.
Yeah, I didn't even talk about my gang banging days. Like yeah, literally, when I was low on the totem pole, if somebody above me pointed their finger and said, "Take him out," guess what I had to do? Guess what I had to do?
You gotta get square up, homie.
You gotta start throwing them hands, man. You gotta start throwing them hands.
And I speak to that a lot.
Like right in elementary school, left and right.
I speak to that a lot. Like the difference in realities based upon the life you have lived, right? Like I totally understand the Matt Powells of the world that have lived in their bubbles and have been taught a thing and they think a thing. Like you have not even experienced real life, you know, to where I feel lucky I have, and that's a great thing. And whether people like it or not, I can speak from that experience.
True.
Yep.
Well, luckily I've been blessed in my life so that I've always tried to avoid fights. I don't think I've been in one yet so far. And mostly it's just that I really don't feel like getting beat up by people, and I don't feel like if I were to actually snap, I don't want to go to jail for 3 months. I'm fine.
Oh, you're not, dude.
How dare you use the word like blessed, Nathan?
Yeah, I didn't feel like getting beat up by people when I was going to elementary school, but then I had to walk to school, so that wasn't an option to avoid. So eventually I learned to stop getting my ass beat and do something about it.
When you're
my dad taught me how to punch properly.
Well, go ahead, Marty.
Now, I was getting in fights left and right, and I was getting picked on a lot. So he taught me how to punch properly. So I didn't care if you're male, female. He always told me don't start it, but make sure you end it.
Yeah, make sure you finish.
So I was beating up boys. If boys were fucking with me, I beat up a boy. My junior year of high school, I beat up a boy because he called me a spick. I beat him up on the bus. I had my, remember those starter pullover jackets? I'm a Devils fan, so I had from the New Jersey Devils one. I went to sit down next to my friend and put my earbuds on and my earphones on. This guy was been fucking me since 8th grade, and he called me a spick. And I said, "What the fuck did you call me?" And he said it again. I took my pullover off, pushed it onto my friend Chris, jumped over the back of the bus, and started fucking wailing on this kid. He never fucked with me again after that. And then they tried to send some bullshit letter home to suspend me for fighting. And my dad's like, "Well, what about that kid who called her a spick? I thought you had no tolerance policy with racial slurs. Guess who didn't get detention?"
Oh yeah.
I'm a little scared right now.
Well, and the thing I want to point out about my story is all those gangbangers pointing the finger, telling me to go fuck up some dude. They all believed in Yahweh in some form or fashion. Either they were Christian or they were Muslim. So they all believed in that God of Abraham, and they pointed that finger and they were like, "Go fuck him up." And guess what I did when I got ranked? Well, no. Guess what I did when I got ranked? I pointed my finger and I told people to go fuck them up. So I mean, that is the reality of so many life situations that a lot of people will never understand, no matter how much they try to imagine it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the essays. I'm from Vegas, so the essays, man, they are fucking religious as hell, man. They paint the shit on their cars, for God's sakes, man. They are real deal about that shit, man. And they out there chopping motherfuckers. They don't give a shit.
Hey, some parts of Florida. I mean, luckily I'm not in North Florida. Thank you, fucking God. But yeah, South Florida occasionally it's not horrible all the time, but you run into areas a few times where it's extremely religious, where you don't believe in God, you might as well get killed.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And at this point, lie your ass off.
Yeah, hey, somebody was trying to get in the room here a minute ago. 10's the limit on StreamYard. My apologies.
Well, I was gonna say I never grew up in a big city. When I was younger, I grew up in Des Moines, Iowa, which now it's got a population of like 210,000. When I was growing up, it was probably maybe 185, 190. I don't know big city stuff, but I had two stepbrothers that were in the Crips, and when I say in, I mean they were beat in. They were in the Crips. So what the stuff that Knox talking about, I've seen that, I've experienced that, I've kicked ass and I've had my ass kicked. I'm glad that I was in Taekwondo for a while. That's why I like using my legs. I love using my legs.
It's kind of weird, the conversation delved here, but at the same time, it's not because, honestly, I have always been anti-gun. I've always been staunchly anti-gun. And with recent events and how society is, now I'm thinking I shouldn't be. And I think that having a background where you can defend yourself is going to be vitally important moving forward as we go through the chaos of the next few months.
Yeah.
So I'm actually, lucky that I've lived the life I've lived. I don't fear anything. I don't have a gun in my house, and I've never feared anything. But now I'm just reconsidering a lot of things because we live in a different time than we lived in 5 years ago, and we're coming into terms with that right now.
Well, my thing is this, I don't know if you noticed, but one thing I noticed is that the cats that was all about always had guns on them.
Still listening.
They would always run into other cats with guns. They were always running into static, having to bust guns. Without carrying a gun, I never ran into folks that were carrying guns. It was once in a blue moon. You know what I mean? But when for some reason, if you're carrying, you always run into other folks that are carrying, and that just makes a dangerous situation, man.
None of my friends when I was a kid never had guns. None of my teenagers I hung out with had guns ever.
We live in the Wild West now. In Michigan,
right?
They have guns. They are strapped the fuck up. Everybody is. Everybody is here. Everybody is.
My husband carries everywhere we go. He carries.
The first time I went into a Walmart and I got behind a dude strapped the fuck up, it freaked me out. I had my kid there. Like you don't know this person. Like they could freak the fuck out and just start shooting. It was very scary. I've been anti-gun since I went to prison for selling guns, right?
I was
Like,
gonna say the same shit that Knock went upstate for is the same shit that I could get my hands on no problem in Las Vegas. You got to think about it, right? We're a city of like 1.7 million people, 1.6 million people. It's a ridiculous amount of people there, right? And you can do anything you want to in that city. You can go hang gliding, you can rent any car you want, you can go shoot any gun you want. Those guns come in and they do the biggest gun shows there. So you can literally walk in with basically like just an ID, but then they don't ID you any other time or anything like that. Walk in to a gun show and buy ridiculous fucking artillery out there, and then the shit just goes right to the street, like because it's straight gangsters walking in there.
We could literally kick down a door in the middle of the afternoon in North Carolina, walk into that house, any random house in North Carolina, and walk out of that house with at least 20 firearms. At least. Picking them at random, dog.
Hey, let me try something. Let me try something here, not to just to see if we can before we
peace out, Jim.
Before we end up. Oh, Jim's leaving.
Yeah,
later, Jim.
I was just going to ask Jim if he wanted to. I was just asking.
Yeah,
Jim.
like the conversation went into dark society.
Yeah, I was going to ask Jim. Like Spartan said, he didn't have anything specific to talk about, but I don't know if Jim has ever met Spartan. But I was wondering if Jim
I've had
had
somebody from
anything
Spartan.
that he'd like to engage Spartan over. I mean, being that Jim's an biblical expert.
I'm already married,
and
I met somebody with Spartan. I don't think it was Ethan though. On Twitter, or not Twitter, Discord.
I do find Spartan theology to be a fair interlocutor and an honest person to have a conversation with.
But yeah, I mean, before we get to the point where we're going to wrap things up here, I was just wondering if Jim maybe wanted to engage Spartan and maybe get back to the religious discussion.
I mean, if there's like a topic that wants to be brought up, but I mean, there's nothing singular.
It's hard to jump from guns and gangs and fighting to a random Bible passage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey man,
why do you believe in fairy tales?
Dude, I'm telling y'all, had you asked me 5 years ago if I'd ever be talking about like my gangbanging days on fucking YouTube, I'd say no way in hell I'd be a Christian first.
Right. I mean, the only way you could be Christian after that is after watching Passion of the Christ.
Oh yeah, true that.
The only time where Moses had a gun pointing it toward the Pharaoh.
Yeah, Passion of the Christ, the only snuff film to ever be released worldwide.
But you know what? I mean, in all sincerity, this is something that I've always wanted to do, and it's something that I'm going to start trying to do in real life. That is advocating for escaping your gang and becoming your own person. It's a real thing that took me a long time, even after I was separated from my gang, to actually do in real life. So that is something that I do want to advocate for moving forward.
Yeah, I like my own opinion. I don't know if we're on the gun topic anymore, but one thing that's just so when I was raised at the middle school I went to, it turns out that several years before I had gone there, about like 5 or 6 years before, like there had been like a person that went on essentially like a murder spree, had killed like 5-6 people, just like stabbing people to death. But the thing is, like with guns, like there's so many incidents you can raise up. It's just that with guns, especially like with assault rifles or like military grade weapons, you can kill. Like it's just the amount of people you can kill. Like you can wipe out like 50 people in a matter of.
That's what somebody for me that's an outside of the gun like knowledge of guns, right? Because if you think about it, right, some of the top what do they call them, anti-terrorist forces in the world, right? They, given the choice of any gun, right, go with a a submachine gun with a pistol round in it, right? So the reason why is because anything less than say 50 yards, right? All guns have the same lethality to them.
Yeah.
True.
Hey, real quick, I just want to point out. I had a comment up there. And Maynard had asked Spartan whether he was old Earth or young Earth, and Spartan
I put
evolution.
a comment in the chat.
Earth. He had to respond to evolution and old Earth.
Theistic evolution that you are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Christian and I hold evolution, so if that's what you want to call it, then sure.
Well, no, but I mean, the thing is that's one objection I've always had to young Earth creationists or people who deny evolution is that that God, according to you folks, is all powerful. So why couldn't evolution be the means by which God created everything? I mean, so it sounds like you're of that mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I also do think though evolution does pose a bit of an issue though. Like, it seems like a very strange process God would use to make humans or whatever, to subject the Earth to billions of years of animals dying and stuff. So I definitely think evolution even does cause.
How does that? Oh, sorry.
Well,
no, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, real quick, I want to. But doesn't God move in mysterious ways?
Yeah, I mean that's why I just don't understand it. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Oh, I was just wondering how, being a theistic evolutionist or whatever you want to call it, an evolutionary creationist. Is that what you call yourself?
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it leads to thinking certain whatever. I just hold evolution. Evolution's fine.
So how do you harmonize that position with the creation accounts and things like the flood and everything else that has alternate explanations to evolution?
Yeah, I don't really hold to inerrancy or anything like that. So
okay,
I mean,
so
I just think
you're not a literalist.
No, I'm fine. I mean, there's clearly issues in the Old Testament for sure. I'm just starting to dive more into the Old Testament, and to hold the inerrancy just seems like you're just robbing the text of what it is. It just doesn't really make any sense. I just ordered Joel Baden's book, or that's his name, right? I was listening to his interview on Digital Hammurabi and learning more about documentary hypothesis or whatever the term is. Yeah.
What do you think Jesus believed about creation? Do you think he was a creationary evolutionist, or do you think he really believed we all came from one person?
That I don't know.
He obviously did, because when he talks about Adam and Paul talks about the sin coming from the first man and everything. So I mean,
I definitely. I'm okay. I mean, there's a couple ways I can think about it. I'm okay with Jesus, he was fully man, so I'm okay with him being a person of the time or whatever, and holding to maybe he thought that Adam and Eve were really the only two people, but in all reality they really weren't. There were other people. I'm okay with that, but I don't think that's really the view I hold. I think more of the references he makes, you hear him make it or read him make in the Gospels or whatnot, are referring to the way that the Jewish people understood history, and for them to refer to the first man was clearly everything he does is based in scripture, and every point he tries to make he tries to back up with scripture. So it's more just referring to scripture than it necessarily has to be referring to a real life reality event, if that makes sense.
So you think it's kind of more metaphorical than actual literal?
Well, if I were going to comment on this, I would say it's that Jesus was referring to the not folklore, I don't want to call it that, but to the traditions and customs in terms of the stories that were told, in the book of.
When he says at the beginning of creation or whatever, marriage, whatever the phrase is, where I'm drawing a blank, but you know what I mean. In Matthew when he refers to creation and talks about Adam and Eve, he's referring to scripture. I don't think he necessarily has to be referring to real life.
Well, so I have a question, if I may, because it's something that's always confused me. When Christians refer to the I guess I'm going to use this word, the period of creation. Is that the creation of the earth, the creation of life, the creation of the universe? Because all three of those are completely different and occur at completely different times.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, creation as in, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when Jesus referred to creation, like, he's referring to Genesis 1, when that was in history or whatever. Like, obviously, that was it's not even a real in history. There probably really isn't, like, one point of view.
I can actually.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say I can supply some apologetics for this because I've dealt with some old Earth creationists. Their thing is that God exists out of time, space, matter, all of that shit. So literally, like, God's day could be like 1,000 years to man. And you can actually escalate that to a universal scale to where God's years is 500 million years to man or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, there is good apologetics for how old Earth creationists get to their standpoint for evolution. I often find it somewhat refreshing if you actually deal with YECs a lot. But outside of that, it's still there's a lot of problems there. But I wanted to supply some of the apologetics that I've heard.
And yeah, hold on. I want to ask Spartan a question. So you're not a biblical literalist. Could you explain the methodology that you use to decide which parts of the Bible aren't literal and which parts are literal?
Well, I think, like, when it comes to, like, determining theology, you just kind of take the whole thing as a whole and, like, understand, like, if Jesus, say, is, like, making a point based on Adam being the first man or Paul's making a point, then sure, like, whatever their point they're trying to make, like, is relevant. But whether or not that actually happened in real life, it just seems almost irrelevant. Like, I don't.
Well, I think you're misunderstanding my question. What I'm asking you is that you say you're not a biblical literalist, so there's certain portions of the Bible you don't believe to be literally true. What I'm asking you is, what methodology do you use to determine which parts of the Bible are literal and which parts aren't? Like, in other words, if you're saying some parts of the Bible aren't literal, then I would respond back to you, well, then, maybe the resurrection's not literal. I mean, so what methodology do you use to make a determination?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like, I think it's pretty simple. Obviously, like, Genesis 5, like, people don't live to be 900 years old. So, like, that seems pretty obvious that that's not literal. And like, I'm fine with saying that the author intended it to be literal. Like, I don't know. I understand your question, but I don't, like, read, like, I don't, like, take apart as literal and, like, understand it much differently is kind of what I'm getting at. Like,
so John, I think what he's saying is that, and maybe I'm wrong.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting it out. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think what he's trying to convey is that it's not necessarily like what the text is saying particularly, like in the determination of what should be taken literally or not, but it's more so in, like, what the text is trying to convey, like the message that these stories are trying to convey to its audience.
Yeah, like, the whole idea of the resurrection, like, that, like, whole thing rests upon some actual event taking place. Like, it seems pretty unlikely that, like, the resurrection would be, like, metaphorical but just as important as, like, Paul makes it seem. But, like, Adam and Eve could probably be allegorical or metaphorical, and it would still make just as much sense. What's
the difference between forming a man from dirt and a woman from that man's rib? How is that any different than saying a man died and then he resurrected? I find both of those claims to be pretty outrageous.
Yeah, but he wasn't just a regular man. But
real quick, can I jump in, John? Just real quick, I just want to interject. I would like to wind it down and end about 20 minutes from now. I am having leg troubles today. I popped a couple pain pills about 2 hours ago. I'm feeling really loopy and I need to go to bed. So 20 minutes I would like to wrap it up.
Yeah, so we'll go on with the discussion for like another 15 minutes, and then we will let everybody have their final word, and we'll get Knock out of here at 10 o'clock so that he can be well rested for his beat down of Gavin tomorrow.
I'm bummed I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna be on Richard's channel tomorrow.
What time's it at?
Oh man,
8 p.m. Eastern, Smokey Saints channel.
Well, before you all get back into the religious stuff, I gotta go find out what's up with my wife because she's like 2.5 hours late getting home from work. So, bid y'all adieu.
Hopefully nothing's wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, hopefully nothing's wrong. And thank you so much, Puff. It's been too long, man. Good to have you back on.
I just appreciate y'all letting me in. All right, man.
I cannot. Yeah, but I can honestly say I've never watched Smokey's channel, but I might actually have to.
It's a
unfortunate
clusterfuck if you ever watch.
I'm just saying. I have been in several rooms with Gavin now. I have yet to have a serious conversation with him, so I'm looking forward to it.
Can you? Can you have a serious conversation?
Oh,
with
Rage, you have to watch Gavin trying to practice with Praise on Praise's channel. It's hilarious.
For the debate?
Yeah, for the debate.
No, I have
you
to
will
watch
pretty
that
much
now.
hear everything that he will be saying to you.
No shit. I'm definitely going there now. I'm definitely going there now.
Ethan,
Yeah.
like you said, you're the one that said you never actually watched Smokey's channel.
Yeah.
Oh well, here
You're missing out.
Just to give you a little clue. Earlier, Smokey was going against Iron Chariots here in the live chat, and Smokey and anybody that knows Smokey will laugh their ass off at this. Smokey was questioning Iron Charioteer about his character.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The guy who calls women a whore if they disagree with him, or if she wears a red shirt.
And for Smokey to call any other human being out on their character is the most ironic
Well, I mean, John, I mean, that's what Smokey does. He's literally called me a neo-Nazi. I think it's because I'm bald and I have to shave my head. Hashtag bald hate is not good, Smokey.
True.
We cannot help it. We cannot help it.
You know, John. I mean, you can only expect so much from an incel. Okay.
Oh, he is such an incel. It's ridiculous. Like, that's why he hates Jen, because Jen doesn't want to fuck him, and he got all turned on by her red sheets and fucking got pissed off and called her a whore. That's why.
Smokey Saint is 37 years old. I am maintaining he is a virgin, and he will in 3 years officially be the 40-year-old virgin.
Man needs to get laid or bust a nut or something. I mean, gee whiz.
Smokey, I'm gonna help you out, dog. I have posed for you several times. God ain't watching. Rub it out, my man. Rub it out.
Might need to go a step further.
Have you guys seen the video of Smokey cooking?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm about to say I saw that on Knox channel. Yeah.
Yeah, we reviewed it. I'm not saying that Smokey Saint is a skinny beanpole of a man. I'm just saying his arms are.
Yeah, he called me a bigot because I said something about his laugh. He was like, "Well, I can't help that, Marty. You're hating on me for the way I laugh, something I can't help. Doesn't that make you a bigot?" And I'm like, "No, you were in that room, Leo."
I have not helped my cause in having fair moderation for tomorrow night's debate tonight. I'm just gonna say it, Smokey. I know I'm gonna face repercussions for tonight.
Well,
I'm prepared. I'm
I
prepared.
don't think he started the last little bit of it because I think he's alive himself right now.
Yeah, the thing is, right? Like, it's to me, I very strongly suspect that Smokey is like smoked weed for a very long portion of his life.
That's a stoner laugh if I've ever fucking heard one.
Because I can tell you, like, I've heard like prepubescent boys like whose balls haven't dropped yet laugh. even his laugh goes like an octave higher.
And I will say,
sounds like his laugh is fake. I used to sing back in the day, and they teach you when I was in high school. We had to sit up, like at the edge of the chair and sit up straight because you don't sing from your throat. You sing from your diaphragm, right? Exactly. So it sounds like it sounds like he's pushing a laugh out from his diaphragm. It doesn't sound like a natural laugh. It sounds like it sounds like he's pushing, like he's using his, like he's purposely trying to use his diaphragm to get extra air out. That's what it sounds like.
Are you saying that Smokey's laugh is purposely fake?
It
I'm
sounds
pretty
like
sure
it.
Smokey would never lie. Or
But then we're bigots if we call him out on something that he can't help.
Well,
Which is his
I'm
way
just
of-
saying. I'm just saying. If it's fake, he spent many hours. Have y'all ever played The Sims? Right. So you have to stand in front of the mirror. You have to stand in front of the mirror and practice your charisma. That's Smokey Saint standing in front of the mirror, practicing that dead hyena of a laugh.
Oh God, yeah, Jesus.
But he doesn't have any charisma.
Oh,
No,
real quick,
No,
reality
no,
break.
no.
I haven't done this. I haven't done this stream yet. Hashtag John Maddox is a grifter. All right, thank you.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. It's just
You're gonna get me sued, John.
I'm looking forward to when Matt Dillon, I'm looking forward to when Matt Dillahunty, as Maddox would pronounce it, finally produces a response towards logical, plausible, probables. Let's just call it interesting. Video calling Matt Dillahunty just a charlatan and a fraud, and just kind of letting his toxic little masculinity just pour right out on stage.
Well, here's my prediction on that. Matt Dillahunty will not respond to him because to Matt Dillahunty, John Maddox is a nobody.
Well, let me talk to Matt Dillahunty for a minute. I'm going to talk to Matt for a moment. Matt, I know you're watching me, dog. You're a big fan. I understand it. I really do. Debate John Maddox. Debate the Mad Ducks. Fuck him up, my man. That's what fuck him up, my man. That's what I'm going to say.
Fuck him up,
Last
my guy.
year at Dragon Con in Atlanta, I waited 2 hours to fucking get front row seat at Matt Dillahunty for the fucking hour and whatever change talk he did. It was fucking fantastic, and it's up on YouTube. I waited 2 hours, and while I was waiting online, I didn't notice that he like walked out, and I didn't realize that that was him, like until like he was gone. I said, "Oh shit, that's Matt Dillahunty." So I missed meeting Matt Dillahunty by this fucking much because I wasn't paying attention. But I sat and watched his talk at Dragon Con. It was amazing.
I don't know, man. Matt Dillahunty is pretty recognizable by his goatee.
Yeah, but
right.
I wasn't. I mean,
Oh, dude,
if you've never been to a con, you don't, shit like
I
that.
can attest to that. I can attest to that. So I have been researching for a debate tomorrow. Matt Dillahunty might have came into that research, and yes, older, bigger Matt Dillahunty compared to the newer, old, in actuality older Matt Dillahunty, that's thinner. You can still tell the Matt Dillahunty from the motherfucking goatee.
Yeah, but have you ever been to like a Comic-Con or something like that? Dude, you're so like out of it, and like it's so many people and everybody looks wacky that like someone walks by and you're like, oh shit, that was that person, and then they're already gone. So
it sounds like at a place called Dragon Con there'd be more than one goatee, so
that's true.
Definitely. I wish
Hey.
Dragon Con was a lot closer where I live.
I wish that I could go to Dragon Con. I really do.
Dude, you
Yeah.
should totally come to a con, Knock. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, but I'm poor
that
and I don't
like
leave
a-
the state. I'm like most Americans. Like I don't leave the state that I was born into, or well, I can't say that. But the meme is, most Americans don't leave the state they're born into, and yet they talk about how America is the best country in the world.
Right.
Dude, I
So
was born in
Dragon
Jersey and I
Con-
live in Georgia.
Is Dragon Con, is that where you guys are going and, having a get together with Dragnaut Silva?
No.
Oh, all right.
No,
It's one of the
you're
biggest,
thinking about
nerd
Dragoon
conventions.
Con.
Dragoon
Is that a
Con.
thing?
No, but there a few years ago there was like a meetup that the Dragoons had, like some of the core members of that community.
I am not lying. I want to meet up with Dragnaut Silvis in real life just so we can see who is in actuality the bigger man.
Hey,
Well, you're definitely taller than him.
Who else?
Yes,
So
but
I
am
have-
I bigger? I mean, I'm not just talking about like physical, like real bigness, but just like personality as well. A meetup, Dragnot and Rage in real life. What
That'd be a good
personality
one.
dominates the conversation? You know,
The Raging Dragon.
The Raging Dragon.
You just like become one person when you meet up.
What's it like, a fusion?
That,
Dragon Ball Z?
if that were to happen, then Thea should run in fear.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's been a little like, pet theory of mine for a while now, but I'm thinking that maybe Smokey should be called White G-Man because that's about like
God.
True.
White G Man DD2, maybe.
Maybe
I know, he does not like Darth Dawkins. I'm not quite sure because he talks shit about G-Man, but then he was in SGA stream and G-Man talks shit about him, and I'm sure like the whole Veckel thing is going to bring the two together, but he does not like Darth Dawkins, and he's a spitting image of the man.
Hey, real quick, let me interject here. Bye, Jim. And let me show for Jim Majors. Please go over and check out Jim's channel. I will make it a point to put folks links in the video description. Any of you that have YouTube channels, please shoot me a DM.
And the thing about Jim Majors, John, is he possibly has the best mustache on YouTube. But there
ain't no possibility about it.
Well, no, there is question because Soccer Count has a brilliant mustache. If you were to take
already publicly bowed down to Jim Majors mustache.
Soccer. I'm talking about my perspective here. So, all right, but then if you take into account if Richard Madsen were to shave his beard into a mustache, that would be the most glorious mustache of all time.
Richard Madsen has Nicholas Whitmer beat, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's just, look, the thing is, like, some people wear, like, really long beards and mustaches, like, really, really well. Nicholas, unfortunately, is not one of those people. Quite unfortunately.
Nicholas looks like one of the extras from Fallout 4.
I'm just going to say it, and I have no qualms about saying this. Nicholas, like, when he has that appearance, looks like a hobo.
Well, and based on his beard, Nicholas, he is like an extra from Wrong Turn.
And don't worry, Nicholas. I don't care. I think you're a douche. So yeah, I mean, you can pretend to be nice and oh my God, go on your fucking crusade against the pedophiles that are everybody else but yourself, and stop looking at your church that is raping little children's biatch.
Yeah, you just made me coin a new phrase. Smokey, like when he was talking to Nicholas, and then when he was talking to Gavin and trying to relate to them and talk about the pain they were having. Like we could call them in no way related to the term pedophile, but we should call them pityphile.
Like, dude, I've been so back and forth on Nicholas, and I've just come to the determination that he is a Smokey Saint sycophant. That's what he is.
Oh, he is.
It's in his nature.
They've got it for each other. If you really watch their streams closely, they have it for each other.
Oh, they do. And the thing is, like, if you talk to Nicholas about like science stuff, what he will do is, like, if you go into like radiometric dating or like anything that's just kind of very basic, like in the context and confines of evolution, he will bitch out of it because he, by his own admission, does not understand the science.
Oh my God!
And he'll redirect you to one of their supposed experts. In their community, because it amuses me. He thinks that people like Angelo and people like Logical, Plausible, Probable are like proficient in like the fields that they're trying to profess knowledge in.
All right, hey,
that's exactly
that's going to be the final word. We're going to start going around the room and wrapping things up here, and let's let Marty go first and tell us about her. And I specifically want to know, Marty, is the Oh, and I forget the topic. You were trying to put Knock together with somebody
Skylar
else.
Fiction.
Skylar,
Yes,
I sent you an email, Knock.
Skylar told me on stream that we are gonna make it happen, Marty. So we're gonna make
Okay.
it happen. So
I
yeah,
sent both of you an email with my last schedule last week, and neither of you got back to me.
I am terrible at my emails.
I know. Well, I want to get you on my channel and answer your fucking emails. And you were supposed to give Neil the 604 Atheist my email address, and you didn't do that either.
I am so bad. Facebook that shit to me. I'm better on Facebook. So
All right.
So what's the topic going to be between Knock and Skylar?
Well, at some point, I'm going to get my channel Nerd Wars, which is going to be a formal debate channel about the really important nerdy topics that, need to be discussed. The first debate will be, whenever it fucking happens, will be, you got it, Leo, will be Kirk versus Picard. And Knock is taking Kirk and Skylar's taking Picard.
Ooh.
Yes, because Skylar is obviously not a real Star Trek fan.
So as soon as I can get both of them to fucking answer emails and get it together, I'll be shilling the shit out of that. But
yeah, he did definitely tell me live on his own stream.
When was that? Because I sent you that email like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
it was about a week ago. I'm just bad at
All
my
right.
emails. I'm so bad at my emails. Facebook, Marty. Facebook.
All right.
You know what Knock's problem is with the emails is he doesn't go through them periodically and erase the ones that are like 15 years old.
Dude, I've got on my phone right now. I have over 3,000 emails.
Jesus
right now.
Christ.
All right, then I'll send you my schedule on Facebook. I figured if I email both of you, because he didn't respond either, so if I email both of you, then you should both get it, and we can correlate together.
Yeah, it's time to clean house. It's time to clean house. For real.
When we get done here, I will DM Skylar and give him a heads up on that email.
All right, I appreciate that. John, are you on Facebook?
The Apostate Alliance has a page over there, but I still haven't figured that shit out.
John, I took the dive. It's time to take the dive. Your real Facebook, make it yeah.
Make it so.
Yeah, make it so.
Hey, what did Picard say when he took his singer in for servicing?
I don't know, but I do know that I have a direct reference between two exactly the same episodes.
So you're just gonna dive in there and like not let anybody even try and answer my question? Like,
No, I'm just going to give away my whole argument against Skylar. That's what I was going to do. So thanks for stopping me, John. I'm not going to do that now.
Yeah. So what did Picard say when he took his singer in for servicing?
I don't know.
Make it so.
Oh, jeez.
I thought you were going to get that right off the bat, Marty.
No, it took me a minute. I was like, singer. Like, I didn't get the sewing machine reference.
Oh, you know what? Here I am. I'm trying to wrap everything up, and I'm just blabbing on. Like, hey, let's.
We all are, dude. We all are.
Yeah.
We all are.
So, and then just real quick,
every time.
apropos of nothing, what did Arnold Schwarzenegger say when asked to do a movie about classical music? He said, "I'll be Bach." All right, so let's move on over to Immutable Destiny and give him his final word and let him tell us anything we should know about him.
Okay, well, I'm just a guy who goes onto the internet and has interesting conversations. However, me and Speed of Sound of Gravity and Leophilius and a few other people do have morning live streams and a event called Saturday Night the Atheist, which occurs every Saturday. Usually it's a set amount of people, but we discuss all sorts of types of things, and we have a lot of fun there. And primarily our goal is to provide counter arguments towards the creationist YouTubers that are existing and providing their arguments that are egregious.
And the indubitable Mr. Parker, what are your final?
I was originally going to come here to talk about Satanism, but then, we just kind of skipped that. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Parker. I totally told you to come in to address that.
Yeah, that's fine. I got my channel. I plan to do like 2 streams next week because I have a week off from school. Leo should probably be coming over, I think. And I had a discussion with Knock last weekend about politics and Trump.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And
that will be on
anybody
the
in here
channel. Real quick, that will be on the channel sometime next week. I'm going to mirror it, and it was a great conversation with Mr. Parker. So thank you for that conversation. And if you're interested in hearing me and Mr. Parker talk about fascism, talk about politics, it'll be on the channel next week.
And again, anybody that was here tonight, I am the amateur conversationalist on Twitter. My tag is @isthatso19. And send me a DM. My DMs are open. If you want your channel tagged or channel link to go in the video description of the stream. Red Fang.
Yeah, I'm the Red Fang. I'm the evil atheist on Praise's channel that shows up all the time, and I'm usually hanging out with Jay Passick on his.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, I always enjoy the conversations with Red Fang, and I'm sorry you didn't get to talk so much, but please come in anytime, my man, because I enjoy your takes.
And I'm going to jump over at Ethan and let the Christian have the last word before me and Knock. And Leo, tell us about whatever you want to tell us about.
Yeah, my channel is just, I don't know. I post.
Wait. No, I was telling. I was going to let you go last.
I was confused, John.
You confused me.
Yeah, what I was saying was I was going to jump over Ethan, let Leo go, and then let the Christian have the final word. But go ahead, Leo.
So right now I am working with Speed of Sound of Gravity and Immutable Destiny, Just a Walking Fish, Molecular Alchemy, Demeter, who comes on the channel frequently. This Friday at, correct me if I'm wrong, Immutable, I think it's 1 p.m. we are having Aaron Ra and Demeter, who is a PhD molecular biologist and an origins of life researcher on to talk about creationist bullshit and how it's bullshit. I am getting a phone tomorrow, so I'm gonna get a phone. I'm gonna make the introductory video to my channel, play around with that, play around with some other apps I have for editing and everything. So hopefully this coming Monday, I should say, the introductory video for my channel should be up. You can find me on YouTube, obviously. Leophilius is the name. You can also find me on Twitter @Leophilius, as you see spelled on the screen. And as always, folks, Stan Amelia Clark.
Thank you very much, Leo.
Real quick, I just want to say I'm totally jealous. Tell Aaron Ra that the Rage wants to have a conversation. I had his email address and I lost it, and it's totally my fault. Tell him I want to have a conversation. I want to talk Matt Powell with Aaron Ra.
All right,
Ethan,
go ahead.
Yeah, my channels, I don't post too much. I'm trying to do more, but whatever, I'm busy. But I mainly have conversations with people about talking about theology, and then I like going on random streams like this one. You'll see me on Math Pig's channel a decent amount, and then some of my other friends. But yeah, so if you want to subscribe, like I said, I mainly talk about theology and stuff like that. But I'm trying to have more conversations with atheists and other religions and whatnot. So yeah, I just like to talk to people basically. So.
Open invitation here on Wednesday night.
Yeah, Ethan, you are the type of Christian that I don't only like to talk to. I actually enjoy and appreciate and actually like his people. So I'm looking forward to many conversations with you moving forward. I think you're an honest interlocutor, and that's what I look for.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I feel basically the same way here. You'll see me in the chat sometimes. I'm sure you see me on your channel. So,
what I have coming up here is at some point, I'm sure in the real near future, we'll do a horse and bear again and look at some video. Matter of fact, we have to look at the rest of that Joe video at some point.
I think part 2 is going to be Saturday, John. Saturday before I go to work. Yeah.
It's Saturday at like 8 p.m. or something in that area. I'll have to go check my DMs. I'm going to be on the Trusty Ape, Kevin Chaos's channel. Kevin Lentini, and I'm not sure. I can't remember what we're going to talk about, but I'm going to be on his channel. Be sure to check that out. Sunday, for the Apostate Alliance at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be joined by Rational Canadian Atheist, and it's a little departure from our normal shows because RCA is a lifelong non-believer. So we're going to look at things from that standpoint and find out for a lifelong non-believer what it was like to be surrounded by theists their whole life, and how that home life might differ for a household that doesn't have a religious belief. And let's throw it over to our fearless leader, Nakatsuchi.
Well, and I'm really looking forward to the RCA discussion. RCA has been a moderator on this channel for a long time. Really appreciate the work he has put in on this channel, and I'm really looking forward to hearing his story. So that's going to be really great for me. Tomorrow night, guys, 8 p.m. Eastern, Smoky Saints channel. Me and Gavin, Stapler Boy, will be talking atheism versus Christianity. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be great. I am well prepared. I have digs. I'm ready for the trolling, and I'm ready for the 2-on-1. It's going to be great. And then after the debate, at least a 2-hour after party. So come, we'll talk about the debate. It'll be good times. That'll be tomorrow night.
I have a question.
Knock. No, hold on, Leo. See who just showed up?
Damn it, John, you son of a bitch. I was going to mention that.
Otangelo.
He always shows up at
Why
the
does
end of the
Otangelo
stream.
always show up in the last few minutes of the show?
Well,
Always.
Oh, man.
No, to be fair, the last couple times he's been early. But yeah, usually it's at the very end.
Yeah,
if you look at
you got to show up right at like 7 or 8 whenever we start, and we'll get you in the room. We definitely.
I would love to get
definitely wanna have
Otangelo in the room. I want to get Otangelo in the room next Wednesday. Otangelo, we start at 7 p.m. Eastern.
And just remember, everybody, we're on the East Coast right now. There's still 2 hours left in Blasphemy Day. So blaspheme, blaspheme, blaspheme.
Draw that picture of Muhammad, people. Put it live. And tell Jesus to go fuck himself. Y'all have a great night and be the conversation.